like 12.
It was a slow week for comic books, but we are live on the Comics Aficionados on Thinking Critical YouTube. Your Saturday morning delight is here. A nice, calm weekend with a very boring, uneventful comic book week. So we will have some fun, likely lots of side quests on this particular episode. But we do have a fantastic panel returning first time, long time. Yul Carter from Fantastic Comics. Where you been?
Just doing a ton of work. There was a comic book show not too long ago, and I wanted to attend that as a patron. And yeah, just kind of stuff happening. I've been in chat, but I've been having to do all sorts of work at home or at work or on the road, you know, that type of thing. Getting there. Yeah. So there you go. Cracking slabs. That's what I'm doing.
Well, you should be doing.
These
might be more valuable out of it.
We'll talk about that. Yeah, Fantastic Comics, everybody.
There's a link in the video description if you want to check out the channel. You got any cool interviews or anything you've done lately?
No, I've been going solo mostly. I had a customer on. We had a nice little eBay purchase, and then I cracked his slab on the show. Had a little fun conversation. No, it wasn't. This was an in-store customer, and he purchased what the seller was saying was the worst graded comic book ever, and he got it for like 99 cents. He won the eBay auction, and then there was a coupon, so he got it for 97 cents. And then that guy was losing money on this shipping.
Yeah, you just want to get rid of it.
Shipping, even, yeah. So quite funny.
Yeah, just the process itself just to get it slabbed was like $25 or something, isn't it?
Assume he got a good deal at the time, maybe at the cheapest, $15 to $20 or the person. Yeah.
There you go. I bet you enjoyed that, didn't you?
It was not only that, so usually I'll have a very, very small screwdriver and a hammer, and I just get into that. But this one I was able to pull apart.
You're not supposed to be able to do that.
With my hand. You're not supposed to be able to do that. Yeah, exactly.
Huh.
So CGC, they guarantee their quality.
Have you figured out a way to get the inner shell out of the enclosement?
Yeah, you just have to cut it out. It's kind of hairy work because the edge of the plastic is really close to the comic, but I haven't really gotten to the point where I was taking those too often out of my my cracks, but it's just an X-Acto knife and some patience. That'll do it.
Damn. It's easier than we thought, Doc.
Oh, I know it is. But can you get it out and put it back in a slab is the question.
Not with it looking the same. I mean, not the way I do it. You can crack.
But you haven't tried to do it yet.
No. I mean, it's not for me.
No, you need to be an employee to do that.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah. All right. Go to the next person. I'm ready.
All right. Well, we've also got live from Japan, expat from the UK. We've got Gray, the man behind Wakizashi's Tea House. How you doing, Gray?
I'm doing really good, thanks, Wes. It's great to be here on this fantastic panel, despite it being a rather dull week in comics. But yeah, looking forward to talking with you.
How is it in Japan? Because here in the Philippines, it's gotten a little chilly. It's down to like 82 degrees. I imagine it's colder there.
Oh, 82. I can't remember what Fahrenheit is anymore. I've been here so long, Wes. It's currently 5 degrees Celsius, whatever that is.
So that should be like
chilly.
42 degrees, right?
Yeah, it's pretty
Whatever
cool. We have a lot of
Celsius
snow.
Times 2 plus 32, isn't that the conversion?
Oh, wow. I don't know. I can't do mathematics.
Doc, that seems like
a
you thing, right? Celsius to Fahrenheit times 2 plus 32?
I believe so. That's the general. I think once you start getting into really, really high temperatures or very, very low temperatures, like approaching absolute zero, that's when it gets wonky.
Yeah, it's just kind of close. It's never exact, but so you're around the 40-degree age. That's much colder than it is here. That's like
it is, yeah. I was thinking about you in the Philippines, Wes, and just like, oh, I can't wait for the summer to come back in Japan. I can't wait for some good hot weather again.
Well, you should come down here to the Philippines, experience it right here, right now. No, the coolest thing when I was in Korea, and I've heard they have this in Japan as well, is during the winter they will have like hot tea vending machines or hot coffee vending machines, and when you put your money in, you get the can of coffee. It's like it's warm already, and it gets you nice and gets you through the cold nights.
You do, yeah. That's one of the things that really surprised me when I first got here. The hot drink machines in the winter, and of course iced in the summer. It's awesome. And we used to have beer machines too, but I don't really see those anymore these days.
Not quite as good as when you're in the UK and you heat it up.
Yes.
Oh, that stuff is great too.
Yeah, I miss that. I do.
I hate wine, but I like it hot apparently.
In Germany once, Wes. Were you posted there? Were you in Germany? Had some amazing mulled wine in Berlin once. Blew my mind.
I went to Germany for eye surgery and then on vacation once. So I was always, if I was in Europe, I was stationed in the UK and I would travel around from there. Which was quite cheap because of Ryanair.
I remember that, yeah. I never flew on it, but I remember. I think they went bankrupt, didn't they? Have they gone? I think they've gone.
They probably went bankrupt because they were charging so little for tickets. So, always enjoyed the travel there. You got anything special on Wakizashi's Tea House that people should be looking out for that maybe that you just did?
Not so special, but I was delighted to finally. I passed 2K subs, Wes, last week.
Congratulations, brother!
Yeah, that was really cool. So thanks everyone out there. Thanks for your support. I really appreciate it.
Very nice. So good to see people are moving on up. Who else we got here? We got Jim. Yep. It was originally supposed to be Jervain Dargan, but he can't make it this weekend. He's coming next weekend, and Jim is the fill-in.
Yep, I'm the fill-in. Just call me Phil. That's fine. Speaking of that, the moldy, I've drank by accident a couple cups of moldy coffee. Does that count? It's not warm either. It's pretty cold. It's
rough.
That's when I used to, record in the basement after the flooding. So there was some problems.
Jim, you're a Pennsylvanian, and you did not make whenever he said Phil, you did not make a Punxsutawney.
That is true. That's what I should have been.
I am disappointed in you.
I am sorry. I'm going to hand him my Pennsylvania, card, my PA card.
Did you almost die this week?
No, I made it. I'm here. And
that's because you've been essentially medicated the entire week, recovering from your elbow.
That is true. You could call me.
You're just kind of going through life in slow motion?
I am. Percocet has joined me. That's my co-pilot for this morning. And, I ended up getting my elbow drained because of the crappy stuff that happened before, and everybody thinks it's hilarious.
I didn't think it was funny, Jim. I thought it was awful what happened to you.
It is awful what happened to me. you jerk.
Well, yeah, I tried to be serious.
Yeah, you tried for a second. You almost made it, but yeah. You'll have to keep making sure I'm okay.
That you could be shoveling snow. It's a dangerous environment. You turn over, you look over your shoulder, you see your two sons there with like a Twinkie in their mouths, laughing at you, and just get so enraged that you break your own elbow and stick your teeth through your lips.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny.
My lip's fine. That actually is healing amazingly.
You didn't need stitches?
No, nothing at all. There's going to be a scar, but I'll look like Harrison Ford, so that'll be cool. I don't mind scars. That's fine.
No, it's personality.
But yeah, really, if anything, if I had any danger of dying this week, it might have been from Percocet overdose. But that's fine. That would be going out with a smile.
Remember, Jim, chicks dig scars.
That is true. They do. And I don't have any tattoos, so the scars will make up for it.
Yeah, no chasing your Percocet with alcohol or moldy coffee.
Now, that's not good.
No. But I'm glad you made it through, because this was a really boring week, and that's a recipe for disaster for Jim, to where he gets a little bored, and next thing you know, he almost dies.
That is true. Yeah, I start to look other ways. What else could I do to hurt myself? But hey, I'm okay.
Everything's going well. So
yeah.
Very nice there. Who else we have? We have Aaron Sparrow returning to the channel. Normally you're on camera, Aaron, but apparently you're a little hungover and you don't feel like you look good.
No, I'm not. I'm not hungover. I'm not feeling it this morning.
Like you're retaining water or something?
No, Is
it your ankles?
So I had a migraine last night. So the idea of setting up the lights and having the light shining in my face was not particularly appealing this morning. So it is kind of like having a hangover, having a migraine, in that your head is pounding and you just want to be in the dark, but no, otherwise everything's good.
In my mind, migraines and sinus infections are kind of like made up illnesses because I've never had one. If they were real, I would have experienced it by now.
Uh-huh.
I'm in my mid 40s, so I think it's just an excuse for people to say they have a headache and leave them alone.
Oh, I mean, no, I would just have no problem saying, just leave me the hell alone. I'm pretty bold in that respect. I've said that many times in my life. Hey, why don't you just leave me the hell alone?
Now, you're an enormous G.I. Joe fan.
I am.
We're going to get to this probably more a little bit later because there's not much to talk about this week, but Duke #2 came out this week.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff. This is like
first appearances of rock and roll in this universe. We got Stalker, an inference to Snake Eyes, the Baroness, and Clutch. They're pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, we had the cameo of a few of them, like Rock and Roll and Stalker in the first issue, on that last page. But this is the first full appearance in this new continuity, and that's part of the fun of this series is just getting to see where they're going to use who and how they're going to bring them into kind of this new continuity. And they don't disappoint with this issue either.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying this Energon stuff, and I'm really enjoying the Larry Hama stuff that's not even a part of it. Like G.I. Joe feels really hot right now.
Yeah, it's nice, right? It's like the figures are cracking on all cylinders. They just revealed a bunch of new ones, including like Jinx and there's like a Tiger Force Tripwire and Roadblock 2-pack if you're into the Tiger Force stuff. But the Dreadnought Torch, they're pumping it out there, and it just all looks great.
You know what's crazy? So Aaron and I are going to do like a special like Patron's Choice thing where we're going to review a movie, a TV series, as well as a comic book for a special episode of Geek Fix. And I put out the first poll, Aaron, and they're actually picking G.I. Joe the movie over Tiptoes.
Are they really? Well, maybe they don't know what Tiptoes is, and they don't know how how ridiculous it would be to make us watch that. But I'd be happy to go watch G.I. Joe the movie again.
I think we're going to do that review. It's absolutely slaughtering everything else. Yule, do you know what Tiptoes is? Gary Oldman playing a midget to the brother of Matthew McConaughey. So Gary Oldman is walking around on his knees with shoes there. I'm not lying.
Is that a real thing?
You mean like
Aiden's
Dwarf?
got Kate Beckinsale
Is it like
in it.
Dwarf?
And
You push
Peter
him and he
Dinklage.
Dwarf.
It's a real movie. Why didn't they get Peter Dinklage to play the midget instead of Gary Oldman? I don't know.
Well, he didn't have the clout to ruin
Really?
ruin jobs for other little people yet. So
I don't understand. That does seem really fucking stupid. I mean,
it's my word.
I mean, it sounds funny. I mean, if they're going for laughs, then I think I could really get behind this. But
it's
man,
a sort of thing Peter
They're
Dinklage.
really not going for laughs.
No.
They call it
Then
the
on
performance
top
of a
of it-
lifetime for Gary Oldman.
they couldn't. Man, that's weird in this day and age.
They could have got Hornswoggle.
Well, I don't know
You
if
know
I'd
he's
go
in the
that
union.
far. Yeah, okay, I believe that. But
You don't like Swoggle?
no, he's all right. Let's just say that. The
I liked him when he
Wii
was-
LC match was the best thing ever, of course.
That's true. I liked him when he was like the ravenous like sidekick to the Irish guy that when he was
Finlay.
on the ring.
You know
Finlay.
what? Of all the Hornswoggle or of all the things that they've done, the Hornswoggle bit was probably not the worst Vince McMahon angle.
That's probably true. It's like the Vince McMahon Kiss My Ass Club has got to be the most belittling thing he ever did. Well, it was the most belittling thing until I read those emails.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
I was gonna say, I think you missed something, sir.
Well, there would be times when they would drop stuff from above, and like Kane, it would be blood, but other times it would be like brown liquid.
The shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you read those reports, and it's like, oh, I know who came up with that concept.
Yeah, I know who was into that.
Big Show had a dirty diaper one time, I think.
Well, do you remember CM Punk talking about when they had him on so many Z packs that he shit himself in the ring, and he was like, he did not want anyone to know because he said the next thing you knew, like Vince would be like, "Oh, that's great. That's gonna be your gimmick. You're gonna shit yourself all the time. We'll send you out to the ring in white trunks." He was like, he just immediately he was like, I have to keep this a secret because otherwise Vince is gonna be all over this. And,
well, I mean, they made fun of Mick Foley when he had like a stain in his sweats or something like that, and
Yeah,
boys,
Vince
boys.
I'm so
Vince
lost
really-
right now. I've got to say, I'm
Vince-
so lost, guys.
Vince McMahon really loved the
shouldn't have
the scatological humor, and apparently he took it even past humor.
Yeah,
He just enjoys it in general.
yeah. Well, he knows what he likes.
What a depraved just. Oh, that guy needs to go to jail. I'm sorry, he needs to go to jail.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if they've announced a formal investigation, but they were at least looking into it. So that was weird stuff. Last but not least, we do have Doc here, and you and I already did our review for Wolverine 42. We did an in-depth conversation about the CGC scandal that we're likely to talk about here as well. So we're rocking and rolling this week, Doc.
Absolutely. I was out of town for most of the week, so getting back here, getting to
Visiting Aaron's aunt?
No, shut up. No, I was out of town on business. And yeah, so getting to talk about comics, was one of my few trips where I didn't get to go, check out a comic shop somewhere. So I've been missing comics this week, and this is my opportunity to get back to normal.
Hopefully you read Duke number 2 this week, because that was the one.
I did not read
you
any
missed out.
comics.
That's the week's off.
You haven't missed much, Doc, I'll tell you that.
No. Yeah, this week was not very good
Apart
other
from
than that
Duke.
one. Yeah. So people probably think that you live in your mother's basement, but you don't. You have a real job, and you go traveling for your job, and you're able to afford, and you bought your own house and you made your own custom man cave.
Yes.
Like an adult?
Yes, all of those things, and it's surprising to a oddly large number of people.
Doc's a lady. Doc's not an incel. He's a ladies' man. He's it's just everything that people.
He's in a
accuse
loving
him of.
relationship with a woman that's got some kids. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's and it's healthy too.
Water flowers the other day.
Yeah.
So not a lot of pooping is what you're saying.
No, not a lot of pooping.
No.
Oh, my
Just
goodness.
enough.
Jesus,
Sorry.
you.
No, apparently, Vince McMahon is knowing for telling
Wow.
wrestlers this is good shit, and apparently it goes beyond the gorilla position, if you know what I'm saying.
Let's talk about the Thinking Critical Patreons. If you haven't checked that out, there's a link in the video description. Definitely want to say thank you very much to all the people supporting us over on the Patreon. Lots of fun content there. Lots of podcasts featuring Aaron, Jim, Doc. We've also got the comic book guilds or the reading clubs with 32 Flavors and Nick Weiser. And these are the new backers this week. We've got Von Kraken, who goes out as the title Titan, the protector of Aqua Haven. Next, we have Judah Corsi, the hero known as Jab, the protector of Strike City. We also have Alan, who fights as the Stellar Knight, the protector of Cosmos City. We have Carlitos Figueroa, who fights as the Fuego Force from Blazeburg. Next, we have Zonated Poem, who is the Haiku Hulk, the protector of Muse City. We have Gary Oberholster, the indie icon himself, the protector of Bohemia. Next, we have Judge Schmalz, the jurist himself, who protects the Lawmaker's Landing. And finally, we have B, also known as Azteca, the protector of Tenochtitlan. Very nice stuff, and thank you very much. If you would like your own hero name and city to protect, if you go up and sign up for the Patreon, that's how you get there. Definitely really appreciate that. We do have a lot of some super chats here we got to talk about. Lane says, so what are people's thoughts on Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League? I hate the premise of the game and murdering the heroes. Minus game seems bad.
Oh, I absolutely hate the concept of the game. I think that it's
So you're not killing fake versions of the heroes or like clones or something. You're actually killing the Justice League.
Yes, and you're actually if you enjoyed the Arkham Batman games and you liked playing as Batman, well, good news, you get to shoot Batman in the head, point blank, execution style, with Harley Quinn after she gives him a lecture on his privilege.
Par for the
Sounds like
course.
fun.
Yeah,
No.
well, they went out and they did what every game company seems to be doing when they want to lose a bunch of money and then possibly close their studio down, which is hire Sweet Baby Inc., which is one of those ESG DEI sensitivity reader companies that sprung up over the last several years, where they will come in and they will ruin your IP for you, and all you have to do is pay them lots of money to do it.
So shooting Bruce Wayne Batman in the head point blank for having privilege, like that gets through the sensitivity reader?
That's fine, because it's you're murdering a white male for his privilege. That's fine. There's no problems there for
there you go.
For these people. Even more. It's gotten less attention, but even more kind of egregious, although it does make sense from a story standpoint, is when they kill the Flash. Captain Boomerang takes a piss on him, and then over the Flash's corpse, while he's pissing on him, everybody notices that Captain Boomerang has a huge schlong. Don't you want to go out and pay $70 for this game? $90, $100?
Vince McMahon.
No.
For my kid.
Vince McMahon's he promoted that book.
But apparently the gameplay is not that compelling. It doesn't hold you that long, and the story, the dialogue. Like I watched like a playthrough of maybe like the first half hour, and I couldn't stand the dialogue, so I was out at that point. But
nice.
But with everything else that goes with the game, I don't think
Harley Quinn's voice, Aaron, was particularly grating.
Oh yeah, and they race swapped Deadshot to make him match the movies, with Will Smith. Yeah, even though in the Arkham universe, Deadshot is white and was white through all the other games.
Yeah, I didn't know who that was to start with. I was like, who's that character? Oh, he's Deadshot.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, and their big excuse was, the Deadshot that was in the Arkham games was an impersonator. That's their big solution for the race swap. So, and the funny thing is, like, they're bringing in like a multiverse Joker into like the post game content, and it's like, so why don't you just bite the bullet and say that this is all alternate timeline, so that people aren't quite as upset about Arkham Batman getting killed. There's a lot of mistakes that were made with this, and I think it's going to be the end of Rocksteady Studios, which is sad because they made some great games in the past.
Carrie Nerdy Girl Create says, "Morning, guys. Hope you're doing well. Word of advice: don't let Beckett grade your cards. I have a friend fighting with them over a hairy situation."
Yeah, I saw her post. Yeah.
More grading controversy?
Yes, more grading controversy. I mean, I was actually on Carrie's Otaku Tuesday a week ago to talk about the fact that like Beckett is apparently getting into the manga grading business, which I pointed out doesn't really make any sense in any rational way. But apparently they're having some issues with grading as well. It seems to be that whole industry. It all got blocked.
Well, what are the issues, Doc? Are they stealing? Are they bending the product? Are they?
No, it was a book that came back that literally had very obviously a black hair inside the encapsulation, like
Ew.
right in the front of it.
That's gross.
And they won't do anything, and they want the customer to pay them the reholdering fee to fix it.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's where
Yule Carter was right from day one. Grade.
Yeah, I can't disagree at this point. Yule was ahead of the curve here. Honestly, Beckett never should have. Beckett never should have stopped being
ridiculous.
Beckett never should have stopped being a fucking price guide.
On the label, though, Doc. On the label, do they grade the pubes that they included, or is that?
I don't think that with
the 75 pube there.
Yeah, with does it have the tag that you could use to get a genetic profile off of? that makes it more valuable.
Well, if it was Kirby's hair, it would be okay, right? It was the creator's hair. You can clone.
That'd be worth something.
Oh. Yeah, I don't think I'd like that either.
You can get this Aaron Sparrow hair slab,
authentic beard hair.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody out there has my hair, I'd love to get some of it back.
Caleb says Tim Sheridan is lashing out again at people who didn't watch He-Man Part 2, like he hasn't got anything better than do than calling Rent Boys.
Boys.
Holy
Ouch.
shit! I haven't heard that
Callum.
one forever.
Callback, huh?
Bringing it back.
I thought people like this He-Man now.
It's people are saying that it's better.
Wow.
I'm not a fan of it, or of the final designs that you end up with, or at the end where He-Man declares that the monarchy isn't fair, so we're going to institute democracy on Eternia, as if they remotely have the infrastructure for that to work.
Or
It's
care.
it's one of those things where you just realize how monumentally stupid the writers are and how little thought they put into how things would actually work when they decide to make a statement like that. You're like, Eternia is a weird planet where, like, basically the ancient world left all kinds of magical items that are equivalent to just nukes being scattered across the globe.
Yeah.
And it's like it doesn't work with the little political statement that you want to make, but with the property, it's not fair that there's a monarchy in this. Get the hell out of here. Why are you writing He-Man?
He's the Prince of Eternia. He's the hero. You shouldn't probably, there you go. That's what happens when you hire Tim Sheridan, I guess.
Yeah, well, the other great thing is that Randor is dying, and then they're like, "Hey, we could totally cure you," and he's like, "No, everybody dies sometime." It's like, yeah, moron, but like you don't have to right now.
It's like the John Kent situation in Man of Steel.
Man of Steel.
Yeah, or
Don't save me, son, even though no one would see it happen.
I don't know if you guys ever watched the cinematic tour de force that is Howling for Marsupial Werewolves. But in it, there's an Aborigine, and he's wounded at one point. He's like a real Aborigine, and he's not an actor. And believe me, it shows. But at one point, he's wounded, and he's laying there, and they're like, we need to help you. And he goes, "No, I'm just gonna die." And that was basically Randor in this show. I'm just gonna die.
Oh, that's funny.
Callum wants to know, Jim, are you getting a divorce?
No, not that I know of. No.
Not
Way
that I
too
know of.
expensive.
Yeah. Sometimes my wife will leave for a while, and I do have that weird thought, like she's had a lawyer. I hope that's not the case. But no, not that I know of.
You don't get a divorce, Jim. You've been married
No.
for like 30-some years.
800 years. We got married during the last
He's
Irish
in the bitching
potato
about
famine.
his wife phase of his life.
Yeah. I just like to
they
bitch.
had 20 great years of hot and heavy stuff, and now they've gotten to the point where they're kind of tired.
Well,
of each
and
other.
that's the thing. I will
That's
say
normal.
that the stuff that goes on that might seem crazy, it's not that crazy in this house, and that's how tight a relationship we have.
Yeah.
It's all just the normal stuff.
Yeah, there's no reason to get divorced. Whatever. Caleb also says, how many of you know about the situation with that Suicide Squad game? Well, it sounds like Aaron knew about it.
I am well versed.
He was teaching us.
That sounds
Has this
good.
thing even gone on sale yet, or is it just still like the early backers period?
No, it went on sale this week. So it was in the
Okay.
early backer period, and then it went on sale, and like almost immediately there was like an 800% jump in online searches for how to refund the game. So it's not good. It's not good at all.
Well, even
This
the
thing has
early
been
thing, to where you paid like the early bird fee of like $100 and something to get early access to it, and the server stopped working in like an hour. So they had to shut it down.
Yep. So good
Just
good
fucking
job.
everybody over.
This is guys, don't pre-order games. Like whatever bonuses they throw at you, don't pre-order them. Don't give them your money in advance.
You're
like,
just saying
look,
that because you're a free-to-play player. You don't want everybody to have the advantage on you.
No, I don't care about that. Like, look, we already talked about the fact that I won't pay for things in
Aaron
Marvel
is
Strike Force.
furious
to
over
remain
Marvel Strike Force. He's
I'm
still
not
mad
furious. I'm not
that he's a
furious over
free-to-play
it.
player.
I'm still furious over AEW Fight Forever.
Yeah, you are still mad about that one.
You should make that a segment on Josh's show. Because,
Yeah.
it'll be another tag he can put in there, and I think that'd be a good little rant. If you ask
Just
me.
something for me to bitch about every week until I get my $80 back.
Oh, for sure. I think everybody needs to know about that. Because like there was a lot of promises that game was going to be like one of the classic WWE games in playability, and it just sounds like it's any other half-finished game that you have to keep paying money for after the fact. Like
Yeah,
it
they
is
did.
these
They didn't
days.
even. like I would have been far more forgiving if they would have released the game and then given you continual free updates until they at least got it to the point that they advertised. Gave you the product that they advertised. But that's not the case. They just put out a half-formed product and then started releasing overpriced content that you could pay them more money for. And I'm not only not going to pay them more money.
Games become this. I don't play a lot of modern video games. I do some mobile gaming and stuff. But where you pay for the game and then you pay for the right to have an updated version of your game.
Well, MMOs have been doing it. You buy World of Warcraft and then you subscribe
it's a PC
monthly.
game, though. It's not a
Stuff like Oblivion and things
but
like that.
But more and
with it,
more
too.
games are on the PC. More and more people have played on the PC, and it goes back and forth. And people are used to the loot box kind of thing. I don't know when it really started, but it's been around a while.
It seems
Loot
weird
boxes have kind of gone away, but everybody is chasing this live service model where they sell you a game and then you have to pay them every month to play it. And that's
Dungeons
quickly
and Dragons is going to be going through that real soon.
Gaming in general has gone to it's all the entire software industry has gone to software as a service. Fucking Windows, Office, you subscribe to now. You don't buy Microsoft Office anymore. You subscribe monthly to. It's the exact same shit in video games. It's been SAS is literally software as service. That is a moniker of Silicon Valley at this point.
Ugh.
And that's why that's why they're headed towards an apocalypse like so many other industries.
I think this crunch time you hear about, when they're trying to get these video games out, it's some real big BS if you don't even put out a fully finished game. There shouldn't be a crunch time because you didn't finish it anyway.
Yeah, because marketing arbitrarily decides on the date that they need, for what quarter.
Right.
We need to boost our profits this quarter for our shareholders, and so you need to have the game out by this time. But that's not the way game development works. You always encounter bugs. There's always it used to be that people would be mortified to release a product that wasn't finished, and now it's the model. Don't worry, we can update it on day one with a new patch. But
I'm still mad that they got rid of fucking Windows 10 when it was perfect. They're like, oh, so now we're getting Windows Vista, so you can give me a fucked up version that I have to get updates on after the one was stable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no,
what was that, like 15 years ago?
Because F you, that's why. That's the opinion of these businesses.
Yeah, first of all, there's two software industry phrases that I've heard from many people in that. It's software as a service and fuck it, ship it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Callum also says, how many of you think the Falcon actor and Blade actor should quit and run away from Marvel? So that would be Anthony Mackie and Marshall Ali.
Anthony Mackie needs money, so.
Well, he got paid already, right? And now he's on his 5th round of reshoots for Captain America: The Winter Soldier. How happy do you think Harrison Ford is to keep being called back for this?
I don't know.
That guy's
I like
pissed
Anthony
off
Mackie.
on his
He's a good guy. He doesn't deserve this Captain America Falcon guy. It looks bad.
No, he doesn't. Go watch him in Twisted Metal.
Man, I was just having to go through old clips from Falcon the Winter Soldier to put into a video, and I was having so much fun with just all the contradictory stuff he says.
I was having a conversation with Joe the other day, and we both said that it's time for everybody to come out and just point out the fact that no matter what your favorite Marvel movie is, Winter Soldier is the only one that's like a real movie.
Yes.
What are you trying to say about Guardians of the Galaxy? That's Jim's favorite movie. That's Jim's Star Wars.
It's very entertaining, but as a story, the structure, everything about something that you could watch and it would actually be considered cinema. Winter Soldier is the best example of that in the MCU.
Well, you said
Jim, you said Guardians of the Galaxy is your Star Wars, right?
I said it was my kids' Star Wars and that I really enjoyed it, but it's more my Star Wars now than Star Wars. I'll tell you that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You gonna let him talk about Guardians of the Galaxy like that? This is a perfectly good movie.
No, I didn't say it wasn't a perfectly good movie. Look,
how dare you, Aaron?
Everybody's that's right. That's right. You know what, Jim? I'm gonna slip your kids $20 to laugh at you again. You fall down some stairs or something, Home Alone style.
$20.
Look, everybody got pissed off at Martin Scorsese when he was like, "These movies aren't real cinema; they're more like amusement park rides." And everybody got really mad at him. And it's like, yeah, but he didn't compare it to something bad. He said it's like an amusement park ride. People like amusement park rides.
You go, you pay your wife or anything, right?
Yeah, you pay your money. Yeah, it's like, hey, your wife is more like an amusement park ride.
An amusement park ride. Then it's an insult.
They should probably quit and leave. He also wants to know, Sweet Baby Inc. is run exclusively by women because, of course, it's mostly fat black women with purple hair.
Oh, that's true. Everything I've seen.
I've never heard of this company until within the last 24 hours. But
Video
it sounds like
games
they're...
suck. Come on, people, get over it.
I don't need to know about this company. I am perfectly happy to have never known about this company. And when we end this conversation today, I will forget about this company.
You're going to do the forget me not like Job on Arrested Development?
Yeah.
I always love that. I'm never going to forget you, Dad. Oh, I will. He drugged himself. He forgets that he had a son.
By the way, Job also part of Twisted Metal. So,
Also, I'm pretty sure I already forgot the name of that company.
Yeah.
Well, it's called Sweet Baby Inc., so it should be easy to remember with everything that's been going on in Hollywood lately.
Sweet Babies.
It does sound like a barbecue sauce. That or a James
We're
Taylor
going back
song.
to that barbecue.
You're thinking of Sweet Baby Ray's.
So it's a sugar baby company?
Yes.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
No,
It's a bunch of talentless hacks it's basically feminist frequency
sensitivity readers for video games.
for the current day.
Pussies.
well,
Yeah,
it's
it's the old nice video game you got here. It sure would be a shame if you didn't hire our company and we put out a bunch of smears about you being sexist, misogynist, and your game, being problematic. That
but
sure
gamers
would be a
don't care
shame.
about that. That would probably make them want to buy the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, gamers
how-
don't care about that, but companies, the heads of these corporations are still convinced.
How does that
that's
turn
a
out
thing.
to the Flash
there's a
getting
lot of
pissed
chicks
on?
that play video games, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's 8 of them.
Come
Nine
on, there's a lot out there.
Okay,
that's playing
fine, 9.
All right. Cal finally says, Eternity is now vaccinated. There are 2 good things. Keith David is good as Hordak, and I like Tila's snake outfit.
I mean, yeah, the character designs, except for Adam's new metrosexual, space princess look.
He's
it's
gay lighting
good.
He-Man.
Oh, it's so bad. It's such a bad design. There's
Attorney
nothing
is
masculine.
vaccinated, that's
There's
good.
nothing masculine about it.
Well, there's nothing masculine about Kevin Smith or Tim Sheridan, so I guess it makes sense.
That's true.
Wait, does Tim Sheridan actually work on this show?
Yeah, he's one of the writers.
Okay. Now it makes sense. All right, never mind.
He did the comic book also, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The comic book,
like a year
which
ago.
contradicts the origins in this.
I know. I heard it was like good, right? Oh no,
No.
I didn't read it. I'm just joking.
Yeah.
Did you sell a lot of those Tim Sheridan Master of the Universe books?
I sell the same amount regardless who writes it.
Okay, so
you know,
got a couple of Masters of the Universe fans that get everything.
Totally. Oh yeah. Like when it's a number 1, I'll usually order a little bit more and see if I can get a couple readers on it. And I like to keep I sometimes don't off-rack things for like over a year.
Wait, so I have a question.
Yeah.
Does Prince Adam go cruising for gay hookers at the docks too?
I think that scene got cut, but I'm pretty sure it was in the original.
He just
draft.
visits Man-at-Arms. That's all he does.
Goodness. I do want to say thank you very much for supporting the channel. If you would like to support the channel, obviously the super chats will be available for the entirety of the broadcast here, but we do have something to talk about. Like I said, it was a weird, really, really slow week. And I got a lot of feedback on a video I did somewhat recently talking about the stuff that was just bothering me, like Amanda Waller, the way DC do their tie-ins, the stupid, frivolous one-shot reboots that Marvel are always doing. There's a few things in there, and a lot of people had feedback on that one. And I thought, hey, what are the aficionados? What shit are they done with? And you know what I'm bringing up this week, Gray? Nothing to talk about in comic books. How could you have an entire dead week?
I don't know. It's been a really, really weird one. It's that like, is it the fifth week of January where you kind of forget, what's going on, and you lose track of time. But I've got something to talk about, Wes. I do. I'm prepared. Don't worry.
Well, very nice. I was just like, this was the last issue of Titans Beast World. No one cared about it. We got the next issue of the Ultimate Universe coming out next week. No one's talking about it. And it's just, it's a weird dead period, Yul. Are you feeling that in the shop too?
I feel it in the cash register, and the last 3 or 4 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, have been pretty slim as far as getting good material on the same week.
Oh no.
Well, I mean, it's just kind of the way it is. I don't over order the stuff I don't think is going to sell, so there are still sellouts and things like that, but it's very tight right now, and nothing is really making me want to expand my waist, so to speak, when I'm purchasing things. I have actually been selling trades and like certain things like that a little bit better. There's this one that keeps coming in by Josh Bayer called Unended. I think I talked about it on this show, and I've been able to like sell that pretty well. And things like Miracle Man finally finished, so selling the trades of those are becoming more popular. So there's a couple of things right there. But yeah, and the only thing that, like, as far as comic books, is the CGC drama and what other ridiculous drama is going on out there. But it's all pretty much not centered around comic books.
Yeah, it feels like the Energon universe is the only thing that's like super hot right now. And then and even in that, it's not. I mean, it's kind of mainstream, but it's not as mainstream as you would expect Batman or something to be. But you said even the Larry Hama G.I. Joe books are selling that aren't part of Energon. So
all of the Transformers stuff is doing well for me. I see that the numbers are still up pretty high. It's not. I mean, all number ones are going to do well compared to the rest of the series, and I am worried when Daniel Warren Johnson isn't on it. As far as art is concerned, like, where are the sales going to rest? But people have been really liking it. People have really been liking Cobra, Commander, and Duke, and I've been selling out of those. I didn't have a whole lot of faith in them because somebody like Daniel Warren Johnson isn't on it, but they've been doing really well, and I've been upping my numbers to the point where I'm even doing it for Real American Hero. I think this is the best of Real American Hero. Like maybe Snake Eyes reveal back in the early days, maybe the silent interlude, but overall, this is the best G.I. Joe Real American Hero. So there is some exciting stuff. It's just not when you have Spider-Man or Avengers or Superman or Batman or whatever really hot, it fans out the rest of the DC Marvel universe, and there's way more titles, and then people are like, oh, I got to get this, we got to get all this stuff. And then they're getting Transformers, and then they're getting G.I. Joe, and then it's a big sales day. But when it's only G.I. Joe and it's only Transformers and it's maybe 1 or 2 Marvel books or DC books, slim weeks right now.
What do you think, Sparrow? Is a Real American Hero? Is this the best place it's been in for like a couple of decades?
I'd say it's probably I'd probably agree with Yul that it's the best that it's been since maybe, somewhere between issue 10 and issue 60 of the original Marvel series. It's just
so we're going back like 240 issues at least.
Yeah, it's like, G.I. Joe, the weirder that it got, like when it got into like space and things like that, it didn't really always work in the Real American Hero universe the way that it's kind of working so far. We're still really early in, but the way it's kind of working so far in the Energon universe. But yeah, I feel like just moving to Skybound, I think that Larry Hama's kind of like rejuvenated something about it, and they got him a better artist. He was stuck with S.L. Gallant for a while, which, for a long time on the IDW series, and nothing against S.L. as an artist, but his art just was not exciting for G.I. Joe. It was just kind of, indistinct is the best way that I can describe it.
Chris Mooneyham's pretty damn exciting.
Yeah, and so both of the books have, I think, a really interesting art style. And I know some people kind of balked at the sketchier styles that they're using on these books, but I'm really digging them.
Yeah. So I'm done with there being nothing great to talk about or even terrible to talk about. It's just kind of dead right now. Now, Gray, you said you had something. What are you done with? What's your grievance It's your turn to tell Marvel and DC to shove it up their asses.
Okay, this is very minor, but it's a recent thing, and it's the wingdings, whereas it's taken me out of stories. I tell you what, like no matter what you might think about Tom King, and I am not a fan, but his Penguin series has been quite good. If I could read the effing thing, for getting through the wingdings, it just takes you right out of the story. And why can't they just put the word in, or just change it to a different word? Have you seen it? Have you seen some of those panels? They are getting ridiculous.
Why are there wingdings in Wonder Woman?
I know.
That's a mainstream
Tom
book that
King
kids should be able to
writes it.
look at. Like, why is she cussing so much?
Yeah, because like Jim said, because Tom King's writing it, I don't think he does he think it's cool? Does he think is it like it's like 20 years ago or something?
Yeah.
So edgy. When does Wonder Woman swear? Seriously, when has that ever happened before?
Yeah, she's like a sailor now, drunk on the dock.
She is.
Looking for
Alex Scott will
prostitutes.
go to her.
Yeah. Jim, are you done with the wingdings? Because I know exactly what he's talking about. It gets really annoying that every single character has wingdings now.
Yeah, I told Aaron. I just say butt cheeks every time. Every time there's a wingding, I insert butt cheeks and laugh, and it just makes me laugh the whole time. And I don't remember what I read. I just know butt cheeks. And
I thought you said it was
out.
your wife's name, Jim. Every time you said
That's true. Then that's the same. But yeah, wingdings. It's just it's weird too because Tom King will do it even on Black Label books, which makes it just ridiculously goofy.
Makes no
because
sense.
That's what they're there for, and it actually shocks you then when you do get a book like, oh crap, they actually are cursing in this book, and it actually seems cooler then.
in Hellblazer they did.
Yeah,
Cy
Hellblazer
Spurrier,
was one
by
of
the way.
those. I get a giggle out of some cursing. I'm like a 12-year-old. But yeah, the wingdings throw me out. But things like backwards word magic throw me out completely. Bizarro, all that does. So it's just I want them to develop a way to do it so I could read it as well because I get confused. But wingdings suck. They're just stupid.
I agree. Wingdings are the worst.
Yeah, it doesn't add anything.
Well, then I'm like spending like half the time trying to figure out what the proper curse is.
Yeah.
I guess I could do the butt cheeks, but
Butt
it
cheeks
doesn't
work.
always.
Usually you assume it's the F-bomb every time, but it isn't. And then what Tom King does too is he has characters that like it's not even just like once or twice. It is 7 times in one word bubble. And
Danger Street was like rife with that. He thinks he's David Mamet. You know what I mean?
And guys, if we want to get rid of the wingdings, what we need to do is we need to call it out on social media every single time and say that obviously what they intended there was a slur.
Yeah.
the
Oh yeah,
N-word.
we could do that. Yeah. Say that. Also, it gets me hungry when I say wingdings. But you also have the whole thing of Tom King.
I gain weight eating or reading his books is what it is.
Exactly. Yes. So
It's
from
not
the
fair.
beginning of, even we'll say Batman, just start with that. He goes through these things of these tropes that he does. He'll have repeated dialogue at one point. At one point, every issue had a fairy tale involved. Then now it's wingdings. He ends up doing something. He gets caught up in one thing, but the worst is it goes amongst his books. Like you said, it's in Danger Street. It's in Wonder Woman. It was in The Penguin or is in The Penguin. It's like, it's his thing at the moment. And it's just, somebody's got to stop
It's one
him.
thing to be thematic, and have something go throughout the course of an entire storyline or series, but you can like change it up. And you're right. Why are we cussing in Wonder Woman? I understand Penguin's a gangster and you gotta Tarantino the shit up, but I only cussed once during this conversation.
Yeah.
It seems like
Saying shit.
it seems almost like we had decades and decades and decades of comics where there wasn't any cussing. And now when you're cramming it in, it feels incongruous with, what we've done
forced.
In the 90s when Image, I think it was like codename Strike Force or Strike Force, and I really noticed a bunch of cussing, like wingdings back then. And I didn't really enjoy it because it's kind of like you can't judge HBO compared to an NBC program. If the cops can't cuss and say whatever they can on HBO, it just ain't fair. You know what I mean? We got some standards that have to be adhered to, and that's what Image wasn't doing, and now it's in everyday comics. There you go.
I know they're all saying butt cheeks. What's going on?
I know
right.
everybody's saying butt cheeks. I don't get it. The
I
worst
think the
was
censorship stuff
what's
works
it?
as a joke, but it doesn't
Yeah.
work to build tension.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he wants to make it more like that makes it more mature, but it doesn't. It lessens it because then idiots like me say butt cheeks. But in his killing time, the one character, that's all the character did. It was wingding, 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 and it was just insane.
Well, everything Tom King does is like Ryan George's pitch meeting for X3, where he's saying, you know, oh, you killed Cyclops right away, like, you know, and he's like, yeah, I kind of want to show that there's like big stakes in this movie, and that I'm a big boy, and you know, this is a serious movie, and you know, so I killed the guy, and I'm a big boy, and I feel like that's just everything that Tom King does is trying to show mommy that he's a big boy.
Yeah.
And he's
And there
wearing
are
his big
tricks you
boy
can
pants.
do. Basement Brother Collectibles talks about how in Firefly, when they cursed, it was always in Mandarin. I remember watching like Battlestar Galactica. They just changed the word to like Kraken.
Yeah.
And, you know, kind of
Feldercarb in the original.
Yeah.
Very
yeah.
nice. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I like the cursing in Arrested Development because it's a comedy, but in a book like Wonder Woman, also the other writer that's a lot is Tini Howard. If you read her books, Catwoman's always cursing in that one. So I got you on that one. Definitely a good call there, Gray. Yule Carter, you are a comic book retailer, so I imagine stuff you're done with is going to be different than obviously a reader or a customer. What are you done with?
I'm done with, and it's been for a long, long time. And I'm sorry if anybody is out there and they're going to do it in the future. Homage covers. I'm sick of them. Stop it. We're done. Your character isn't as good as Frank Miller's Wolverine on that cover, you know, and it never will be. And if it's another character, I mean, it was kind of cool with Predator, with Wolverine, you know, it kind of makes sense, you know, but, and the Hulk, but I don't need to see it again. I'm done with homage covers. And also I'm done with evil Superman stories, specifically Superman. It's been done. It's been done better. And I'm reading Miracle Man right now, and it didn't need to be done after that either. So I'm kind of done with evil Superman stories. There you go. There's two things.
You don't want any more of the Dark Knight Returns homage like silhouette covers?
I'm done with it. Even Frank Miller doesn't copy that shit.
Come on, you don't think it was great when I did that on Darkwing Duck and we had him getting hit by the lightning bolt instead of jumping in front of it?
Dude, awesome. You know, one of my favorite comics when I was going to conventions and stuff was Lethargic Lad. Did you ever read that?
Yeah.
And they did all their was swipes, you know. And I mean, but it made sense. And you know, that's conceptually, you know, that's a thing. But no, I'm just.
It's one thing to do it in a comedy book, like a Darkwing Duck or whatever. But it's something else to do it on X-Men.
Well,
and it also has to have like the joke. So you know, Dynamite did their series, and they did a bajillion covers on the Darkwing #1, and you know, most of them were homage covers to Batman, but there was no joke. They didn't add in a joke. They just basically put Darkwing in the Batman position, and you know, there's no humor to it, and that's lazy. And I definitely agree with you on that point. When it's just a lazy rehash. I don't care. I don't want to see it. At least come up with a joke. At least make it clever. At least do something different that is part of the character that you're actually working on, as opposed to just copying the character that you're homaging.
Now, will you make a concession when Todd McFarlane does an ASM 300 homage on Spawn 300?
I'll make a concession even on fucking Spider, whatever. An exception for Spider Boy, because they did that Spider Boy homage to Todd McFarlane 300. I'll sell anything. I don't have a problem with it, you know, as far as that's concerned. But I just I really haven't enjoyed them almost ever. Do I ever need to see Action Comics #1 ever again in another style? It's been done to death. Amazing Fantasy 15. Do we really need to see that again? Ever?
What about using interior art from the past and making it a new comic book cover?
Dude, I'm totally down with that because it's super ridiculous. But
because Doc hates it.
I really do.
Yeah, go. Continue, Don.
No, I am so tired of them using old interior art as new cover art.
Oh, you mean like that? Oh, yeah, that's not good at all.
Yes.
Or pinups, like those George
Yes.
Perez ones. Oh my God.
Well, now they're doing the Jim Lee baseball cards or whatever he did during the pandemic are now covers.
Yeah. And all it is a way to get another cover and not have to spend without paying an artist, because you already paid them 25 years ago when they drew the original piece of art, and now you're just fucking you own it, but you're still kind of stealing it.
Swipe it.
Yeah, I mean it might as well be a swipe. No, like they did it for all of the X-Men color books on those 1 in like 5,000 or 3,000. Yeah, the X-Men Jim Lee covers, because all they were old pinups and interior art, and from like, X-Men 1, X-Men 281, that they're now using as cover art. It's cheap, it's lazy. They did it with what was that Spawn, or no, the Venom one that they did, that was the interior art from ASM 299, where Venom like pops out, and it was just remastered and recolored.
I don't even remember. I don't think I got that.
It's recent, yeah.
Holy cow.
No, this one was like 5 years ago.
Oh, you mean a while ago?
It was a while ago that they did this. That one was the first time. That was the first time I had ever seen it. It was before
I remember they were doing it with reprints. Remember, like the Immortal Hulk they would like the last page, the big reveal would be like the second.
Oh yeah, no. I'm not even talking. I'm talking about them going back 30 years,
right,
for art. They started doing it almost 8-10 years ago. And I'm trying to remember which issue. I think it was a Venom issue that they essentially just pulled the interior art. It was like the first page that Venom appeared on from ASM 300 or 299, like that cameo. And they turned that into a variant cover. And so that they could sell a ASM Todd McFarlane variant in like 2018.
I'm also sick of freaking variant covers that have nothing to do with the book.
I'm sick of variant covers.
I am too, but I know there's people that dig them, and sometimes actually people don't get the main cover. They're willing to pick things up. So I mean, there's a reason for it that isn't just evil, but there's some good that comes out of it. But the ones like Spider-Man, or Wolverine, they're doing a lot of Wolverine or Sabretooth through the ages, and I got it in my Avengers book. Nobody that wants to buy Avengers or is looking for it sees Sabretooth and go, oh, I'm going to buy this one,
When they had the Predator covers where they had Predator killing all the heroes in the Marvel Universe to announce he was coming over.
Yep.
Yeah. You know what? This one bothers me, I want to hear from you. Remember when Patrick Gleason did that ASM webhead cover that everyone loved and they blew their minds out? I think it was black with the white pencils on it. Yeah. And then next they did a negative version, so it was white with black pencils, and then they did black with like red pencils, and I think they did a blue version. They just kept doing the same cover with different color schemes on it. I was like, this is just lame.
So those were, if I'm not mistaken, reprints of the same issue.
Well,
no, they were variants. I thought
hold on. I do remember
I'm just
this.
saying initially,
Patrick Gleason sold Virgin versions as his store variant, and the white with the black web, so the negative version was the 1 in 100 variant of the black with the white webbing.
Yeah, they started making incentives to purchase the different web style, because they did one with a Man Thing cover. and other things also. And those were like the 1 in 25. You can get this Gleason one, but I don't know.
I thought it was a
all
cool
right.
cover.
It
Why
looked cool.
overexpose it?
And not only that, they didn't do it as much as they normally did. Do with things, but it did have a short shelf life, I guess.
Well,
maybe it'll come back.
Here, I will tell everyone in the chat, this is just a piece of trivia about the comics industry. If anyone ever has a good idea in the comics industry, someone will overdo it because they have no sense of restraint.
You think they're waiting over at DC? They're like, I think that web design is dead now. We can start picking it up and do it with Superman and Batman and stuff.
Distinctly possible. They're probably sitting over there. They were waiting because that kind of ended up actually, people started resenting it after a while. They're like, oh, this is a really fucking cool cover. And then you're doing 43 more of them. Fucking stop it.
The thing that makes that Jock cover so cool with the detective, the Joker and the bats and all that stuff, is that was the only cover.
Yeah.
They didn't keep doing that all the time.
Yeah. Very nice. Let's hear for the people before we get back to stuff that we're annoyed with. Don Showed 24. Shout out to you guys. Wes, did you see what I tagged you in on Twitter? Rocksteady and DC can F off. These people need to be gone from entertainment. I'm assuming it has something to do with this
Kill the Justice League.
Kill the Justice League thing. I don't remember particularly seeing that, but I have been extremely busy for like 3 days straight. So
the thing is called Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
name. And you're upset that they're doing that.
Well, I don't think anybody really expected
or something.
Yeah, or that they'll their assignment is to kill the Justice League, but they're not really going to be able to kill any of them. Here's the other thing. The other thing that has people upset is the fact that obviously Wonder Woman is treated with great reverence. She's not under the power of Brainiac. She's helping the Suicide Squad, and they all talk about how great she is. She's helping them because, of course, Wonder Woman is a woman, so we can't portray her in a negative light. But Superman, Batman, Flash, Green Lantern, we can tear all of them down because they're toxic males. And there's even a line in the script for the different dossiers that they have for the different characters, where Lex Luthor is talking about how he impressed he is with Wonder Woman because her and the Amazons have defeated toxic masculinity. Lex Luthor is saying that.
Yeah, Lex would be all in favor of the toxic masculinity, if for no other reason because everyone else is bitching about it. He's a bit of a contrarian too.
Well, let's be honest here. There's actually no such thing as toxic masculinity. The thing that's toxic is the absence of masculinity. Actual masculinity is protective, it's daring, it's risk-taking. Those are the things that make men men. And this attempt to always tear that down and denigrate that and turn men into women, turn men into these docile creatures, is just an antithesis of what men actually are.
Oh, I agree completely. My point is that Lex Luthor would immediately, he'd be like, all right, I'll accept your framing, and then I'm going to fuck with you with it.
Yeah. I'm going to destroy you with it. Oh, that's what you think I am? Watch me be even more of that than you could possibly imagine.
Exactly.
Very nice. Caleb says, a Lady Death sells very well at a comic store I go to. They admitted they want to sell more, but it's difficult to order those books from Coffin Comics. Yule, is that your experience trying to order from Coffin Comics?
Well, if you're talking about getting like back issues and stuff, yeah. Diamond is where the distributor that does the Lady Death after the crowdfunded stuff, I'm assuming. And there's a ton of different covers for a ton of different prices, but there is a new Lady Death that's coming out in like a month or two. I know I've already put in the order. I only get a few for the shelf because it's Lady Death, but it does well spread out.
They got good covers, man.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, always.
What do you think about
titty books? Are hard like that.
What do you think about this ICV2 thing that they're doing? ICV2 Direct, where you can get an account with them, and they'll do all the ordering from Diamond, from Penguin Random House, as well as Lunar. Are you going to get on board with that?
No, it sounds like the dumbest.
Seems like a middleman.
Well,
I
might
like
be good for
being
Brian
neutral.
Hibbs because Brian Hibbs likes to complain that
Well, not when
ordering
they charge
comics
him
takes
2.5%.
I like doing things all at one place. I like only writing one check. I like this. It's like I can't help you. I mean, sometimes the fact that I'm writing multiple checks is actually a good thing.
Yeah, his is gonna be
space them out,
I thought that was it was interesting. Lane says he's got a Patreon request, Aaron, to do your pitch for a Justice Duck series if you're asked to do it. Lane read number 1 and it was okay. Give him some time to think. Yeah, we can do that one in the next one, right, Aaron?
Yeah, we were actually. I'm actually kind of. Usually, I'm hesitant to talk about any of the direction that we were going with the Darkwing stuff because
I don't want to give away your ideas. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and James and I are planning to release our own story. Like we're going to release our own free for the fans kind of your dark continuation of our Darkwing material. But we were building towards a Justice League. Or a Justice Ducks, I should say, reunion and introducing some new characters for their ranks and just generally making everything bigger in our run. But, obviously Dynamite didn't want to go with us. So we'll do it ourselves. We'll do it ourselves and we'll put it out so that you guys can enjoy it. And if anybody wants to give to James Patreon, for all his hard work, that's appreciated. But it'll be a free thing for the fans that we do for all the people that stuck with us for so long.
So it'll be Elsewhen.
Yeah, exactly. That's the model that I kept pointing out to James. I'm like, look what John Byrne did. Let's do that.
Very nice. We'll do a pitch, but Aaron's obviously not going to pitch exactly everything, but just some of the concepts maybe.
Yeah, you know what? But I do respect the Patreon request, and Lane obviously is a huge contributor to the channel. So if Lane, I'll do you one better. If you ever want to just have a private conversation where I tell you in secret some of the stuff that we had planned, I'll do that.
Man, everyone loves Lane now. He's like the most popular guest.
He's outgoing.
Lane and Callum are regulars, man. Lane and Callum,
Yule does private powwows with Lane to talk about his comic book collecting.
Yeah, well, I mean, he orders for me, so I'm willing to talk to him.
Absolutely. Very nice. There you go, buddy. Definitely hit him up, and we'll see about doing that in the Geek Fix as well. Callum wants to know: are you done with Pride books?
I was done. I think the entire comic book market was done with them before they came out.
It's like Master Shake with the red book, in the waiting room. Yeah. I'm done with this red book. I was done with it the moment I saw it.
I don't think the Pride books have really been that good. I think the offerings that DC and Marvel put out. Well, the Marvel one I thought was actually, I only paged through it. I didn't read it, but their February offerings, we're going to call them, I thought were pretty okay. But the Pride ones, it's always people I don't know.
It's the same writers every time.
I don't read. Yep. Usually the art's subpar, and they're just kind of putting people that really shouldn't be working on mainstream comics on mainstream comics.
Well, none of the stories matter. That's the other problem. Is like, why don't you get a really good writer and do a like a Midnighter and Apollo one shot and put that out as your Pride book? Why is it always an anthology where you bring in a bunch of hacks and they tell stories that don't matter? And it's like, if you just want to read a story where the point of the story is the character is gay or the character is trans or the character is bi, like that's not a story. And and none of them have enough pages to tell any kind of story anyway. So it's just a big waste of time.
Yeah, I think in the last one, Connor Hawk came out as asexual. And it's like,
okay. Woo! Was it as exciting as when Gwenpool came out as asexual?
Hey, my character, my distinct character, characteristic is I don't fuck. Congratulations, you're a cartoon.
That's like I remember when Sesame Workshop had to come out when there was that big push to out Bert and Ernie, and Sesame Workshop had to come out and basically say First of
They're
all,
puppets.
Bert and Ernie are just friends, and they don't have sex. They're puppets.
Yeah.
Upset a lot of
HH,
weirdos.
from the guys from Sigma Comics, shout out to Thinking Critical from MegaCon Orlando. The place is packed and ready for biz. Everyone's a potential comic book reader. It's up to us to flip them. That's the mindset needed in comics. Support Thinking Critical in the indies. Absolutely. And I hope you are enjoying a lovely Orlando.
I wish I was there. I saw the Four Horsemen have a table set up with a bunch of Mythic Legion figures for sale. And
Man, when you say Four Horsemen on this channel, I think of
Yep.
Ric Flair, Ole
That's what I
Anderson,
thought.
Arn
I
Anderson.
was like, holy shit.
That's
Tully
where I was
Blanchard,
going
man.
too. I'm like,
that's right. The Four Horsemen are
yeah.
there, and
Holy crap, they're
they
there.
got their own table. They got their own merch
We're
table.
gonna be
set
throwing
up.
up the four fingers.
Woo!
What
Orlando
the hell
is
is Paul
horseman
Roma
country.
doing here? Get him out. Mythic.
Well, it's
Legion.
funny because it's like whenever anybody says the Four Horsemen, I'm like, are we talking wrestling? Are we talking toys? Or are we talking X-Men comics? Because you got to tell me which one it is.
fair point.
Well, I thought you were gonna have the robe on.
Oh, yes.
I need to get me a good Ric Flair robe. Just good
Everybody
feather-
should have a good Ric Flair robe, man.
in a couple of good feather boas, you know.
Weren't those like $10,000 robes?
Yeah, that's what so he claimed, but you know, I don't know.
What do you
Rick's
think a
not
robe
always
like that
accurate.
costs with inflation? Is that like a $95,000 robe now?
Well, under Biden, it's like a $3 million robe.
You're a huge wrestling fan. Have you worn a Ric Flair robe? No.
No.
Oh. Would you?
That's
Come on,
very
you're in Berkeley.
ostentatious, don't you think?
You're in Berkeley, Yule. I refuse to believe that you haven't worn a big feathered robe.
I've
at one
seen
point.
one, obviously. The guy was naked underneath it and riding a bike. It was strange, but
Very in
So-
character.
You've been Ric Flair then.
Yeah.
it very well could have been, yeah.
Right after the plane ride.
Woo!
If you're in the Orlando area and you're going to MegaCon, definitely stop by Sigma Comics. Say Wes sent you, and HH will treat you right and probably sell you on some comic books. I really appreciate the support there, brother, and good luck. I'm glad to see you back on the scene, and hopefully the weather's nice. Adam Frey, I love the Energon Universe Jason Howard's second print character profile covers. If he does one for every Joe, Cobra, Autobot, and Decepticon, I'm going to go bankrupt.
That actually, you know what? There's a lot of people out there that are really like, as much as I fucking bitch about variants at this point, those do look pretty. They really do.
Those are nice covers, aren't they, Aaron? I mean, I want a profile cover. You got all the information.
I just love G.I. Joe so much. I'm such an easy mark when it comes to G.I. Joe. Like, you do a cool cover if it harkens back to like file cards or anything like that from, or even the.
What
the
if they do
cover
a cover
images.
that looks like the original G.I. Joe packaging with the character inside of it? And
What's funny is I actually on Death Rage, I actually had Renzo do a cover like that, and it just never got used. It was like going to be for the second series, and I don't know if the second series is ever happening.
because Marvel was doing that for Star Wars. You get like the Han Solo and Carbonite cover with the toy and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, but like they never quite looked right. Like I don't know if there was like a licensing issue or if they just had to like kind of design their own, but it never really looked like the classic packaging. And Dynamite's tried to bite off that too, doing some Darkwing figure covers, and it is kind of like a popular trope. But man, I got to tell you, the one that Renzo did just absolutely killed it. We were gonna have a file card on the back cover and everything. Would have been great.
Man.
Maybe I'll do some of that for Neil before Doomface. I'll do some toy packaging art covers.
Skybound should reach out to him, do some for some freaking G.I. Joes, man. Those are awesome. Especially you get the variant on this week with Rock and Roll and fucking Stalker.
I know. I'm still waiting for Yule to come through with that great Cobra Commander Megatron cover for me.
I wish I could. That'd be great. I get the
Your card had
X-Men-
bad customer service?
Well, I mean, I hit him up after the fact, after it came out,
Oh.
so it's not like I told him like
You
you'll
gotta
order
get
this
on
for
the-
me
you
because
gotta pull it, man.
I didn't know it was a thing. So I was like, if you come across this, let me know.
Yeah.
Don't go to eBay, man. You'll get screwed over.
Well,
No, I
sometimes
don't-
That's all you can do.
No, we got plenty of listeners. I'm sure somebody out there has a shop that's got some that could maybe hook me up, tell me where like, hey, I picked this up for you. Where do send me some PayPal? Where do I send it?
Boom.
Very nice. Mike Knight says, I have a wife and 3 daughters. Why give money to Marvel and DC when they oppose my core values? Give me more Conan from Titan.
Wait, Conan's having wives and kids?
Wow.
He's pretty
His
good.
values.
Man,
He's pretty over the top.
I like Conan.
Conan's
What are you
great.
trying to say about Conan? I named one of my children after that character. Are you saying that he's not a family man?
Oh, I thought you were just a big Conan O'Brien fan.
No.
can't
really
wait
like
for
those
Savage
seasons.
Sword.
I like the
Coming out
seasons of
soon.
Simpsons that he wrote.
Yeah, he was great on The Simpsons.
You like Savage Sword of Conan? Is that your favorite series?
Well, it's going to be coming out in magazine black and white form. It'll be like 6 issues. They'll have like Solomon Kane stuff in there and a Conan story, and it's going to have.
When's
a
that
bunch of
coming out?
different people.
Is it coming out soon?
Yeah, real soon. It's either
this month.
I think it might be this month, but it might be next
cool.
month. Yeah, it's going to have.
But it's not going to be a normal
Howard
comic
Chaykin.
book, though.
No, it's not.
Oh.
This is going to be very important. If we're ever going to get this kind of thing again, you got to ring the bell.
Well, let's let people know if they haven't put it on their pull list.
Yeah.
Yeah, go out there and put it on your
Healthy
pull list,
information.
man. Get
Yeah,
some
that
more
would be a
Solomon
great
Kane
one.
out there. I'm excited for that.
I mean, you have to be okay with black and white, but this is
Due
like
April
this is when-
2024 is what
Manga's
Titan
the most
Comics
popular
Magazine.
thing on the planet right now, and that's all in black
Okay.
and white. So
Wait,
we
no,
can
this is
certainly
a
read some black
reprint
and white
because it says
Conan.
Roy Thomas on it. Never mind, that's a reprint.
Oh, I think you're
My
looking at
bad.
the Omni, maybe.
Yes. Where's the date?
I could look, but
This
it's
is the one
boring
with Pat
radio.
Zurcher on it. February 28th, 2024. Black and white on sale. John Arcudi, Pat Zurcher, Jim Zudd writing, Max von Fafner, Pat Zurcher artists.
When you get black and white, that's really good. You see how good that artist actually is, and it's not ruined by all those.
You're selling Sully on the book right
Colors.
there.
Yeah, man. I saw Godzilla in black and white. That was really good.
-1?
Yeah, minus
Was
color.
it good?
Yeah, I like
Greg cried during that movie.
It was amazing. I didn't quite cry, but I was getting there. You know, the Japanese, they're really good at pulling the old heartstrings, Wes. But he looks
Well,
amazing. He looks really
There's some
good.
weird stuff too, though, man.
Sure do. Just ask Jim. He's a big
I
Banger fan,
watched
so
a
he'll know
movie
about
where a student got mad at her teacher, so they gave the teacher HIV. Or no, the teacher got mad at the student, so the teacher gave the student HIV, and then it turned out it was all a ruse. But at that point, the student had poisoned the teacher, or something. I
Wasn't that
was
Mr.
like, "Man,
Holland's opus?
This is the fucking most Japanese thing I've ever watched. Mr. Holland's opus, the anime.
Richard Dreyfuss. Oh, Jesus. Poor
They
Richard.
do some weird stuff. Oh man, there you go. Definitely support Conan and Titan, and I'm with you, man. It's tough seeing family guys like us, Mike, not being celebrated today. It's like we're being ostracized, wanting to have kids and stuff. It's weird. We do have some more stuff we're done with, though. We don't want to hit Doc yet because he's going to go nuclear or something. But we will hit Aaron Sparrow. Now, you're not just a comic book reader, but you work at a comic book shop. You do some ordering. You're also a comic book writer and an editor. Coming from a different perspective, what are you done with, Aaron?
I'm done with people trying to insert the current thing into comics. You know, your stories, you can reference certain events, you can reference certain current events, and you can use them as a jumping off point, but you have to do them in a deft and subtle way so that your comic isn't immediately out of date. Like, by the time you read it, you don't want people, you don't want your comic to be the equivalent of that stand-up comedian that gets up there and he's like, oh, what about this Y2K? And you're like, that was like 25 years ago, dude. Come on. So I'm kind of tired of that. I'm done with covers of characters taking selfies of themselves. I'm done with the trope of a character meets a bigger character, and that bigger character immediately has to lavish praise upon the new character about how, Captain America should never be telling Kamala Khan, oh, I'm a big fan.
Oh, so bad.
I'm done with that. I'm done with characters saying we're not so different, you and I. That line needs to be retired forever. I'm done
Unless
with
it's the villain trying to manipulate the hero.
No, just stop it. It's used too much now.
It's cliched.
Yeah, it's absolutely cliched. I think every writer should only ever get one use of a character saying, "So why are we doing this again?" You get one, and then once you use it, it's out of your. It's just that one-time spell. You can't cast it ever again. I'm also would love to see the end of, he's behind me, isn't he? Like, I'm done with that, and I'm done with all just the cutesy pie attempts at you know what I'm really done with in comics? I'm done with grown 50-year-old men trying to talk like 18-year-old TikTok teenagers. I'm done with creepy guys talking about how characters, you know, I just wish they all had little tummies. I'm done with everybody's
like a personal attack on Mark Wade and Dan Slott.
I'm done with
What are you doing?
I'm done with everybody putting their personal kinks into a comic book. I'm just done with all of it. I guess maybe
Fucking
I'm done
Chuck
with modern.
Austin.
I guess it would just be shorter to say I'm done with modern comics for the most part. But I can't really say that because occasionally you get stuff like the
Aaron.
Energon universe.
Yes.
And I'm with you on the character stuff, though. Jim, you know, we're reading Captain Marvel every once in a while, and it's the fucking Yin and Yang show.
Yeah. And
Captain Marvel talking about, wow, you're great at this.
And it's funny you say that. That's kind of my deal too. That was my, you know.
Well, we haven't
play
got
there.
to you yet.
Well, I'm just saying that's
You're
one of
just
the
supposed
things,
to
and
be
like you
chiming
said,
in.
self-inserts and the idea of elevating a character by lip service is awful. It's really bad now because it's a shortcut of character work. There's no character work being done, so that's their shortcut to make a character. It doesn't work.
I'm tired of Wolverine telling every female character he comes in contact with that they're awesome.
Yeah.
He used to be an asshole, and he was cool with it.
He didn't
Yeah.
care, bub.
Yeah.
If you get praise for Wolverine, it should be like after you do something spectacular,
Like
you know,
beheading somebody. Right?
Well, just did you guys remember when like he didn't want Rogue on the team? He was against Rogue being on the team.
Yep.
You know, because of what she did to his
Storm.
friend Carol Danvers and to Storm, and he didn't want her there. And then she basically was ready to sacrifice her life for Mariko. And because of that, she earned Wolverine's respect. And when Wolverine finally told her that he respected her, what a big moment that was. Because you just don't get Wolverine's respect because you showed up on the day and you were diverse. You know, you actually have to do something to get that guy's respect. He's a grizzled old warhorse, and he should be written accordingly. He should be cynical. It should be hard. He should be hard to, you know, when you get praise from Wolverine, it should mean something. But none of these writers know how to get characters over. They don't know how to make characters impressive on their own. And the only tool that they have in their toolbox is the very lame tool of have a better character praise them.
Or they're not allowed to, or they don't want to take the time to develop the character to make the reader actually think that they're good. It's just such a shortcut.
I almost went Clark Griswold after that rant where I ended it with, holy shit, where's the Tylenol? Because I was feeling my blood pressure rise.
You know, I want to bounce off Aaron and say I've never been punched that hard before. Needs to be one and done also.
Yeah.
And also stop, like, especially new writers, never start your story waking up. It's just a hack move.
You haven't earned what Robert Kirkman has earned.
Yeah,
Or, you know, well, let's see. I think it's all that fiction that came out around that time. You had The Walking Dead, you had 28 Days Later, you had Lost. All of them started with a character just opening their eyes in a weird situation. There was a bunch of other ones.
Yeah. I mean, it's just
Probably
popular in
Heroes.
short stories and stuff like
Heroes,
that.
yeah.
It's not good.
It's the equivalent of, you're probably wondering how I got here.
Inner monologue. And you
hate
talking
that.
to me? I don't know who the hell you are. Stop it.
I'm glad we're mostly done with the little like character name and pithy intro to what they do in their power.
Wolverine,
still writes
Weapon
comics.
X,
What are
you know,
talking about?
Wolverine, adamantium bones, healing factor, loves donuts.
Yeah.
When they do it with Red Sonja, you know you're screwed.
Mark Russell?
I don't think he did that.
Oh.
Oh, I'm
He was
also
right
done
for a
with
while.
Mark Russell. If we want.
Yeah, it's that
Mark
one.
Russell? We're done with Mark Russell?
Once again, the comic industry was done with Mark Russell before he released anything.
He's doing a Batman book, like a Steve book.
Do you know what else he's done? Everything else. And do you know what he's done that is sold? Nothing. Ever.
Stay tuned for Best of the Week.
Yeah. Whatever, you got mad at me when I said that Mark Russell Superman book wasn't good.
I did not get mad at you. You guys
totally
all.
dissed me
All
in
I
the comments.
remember
I feel
is
it
that.
still. It's like a
All I
glue that won't
remember
heal.
is that people that like them have fundamentally flawed issues. I think that was Jim that said something like that.
Yes, maybe.
Man,
So
you're going to
there
be
you go.
all over that Mark Russell Batman book, aren't you, Yule?
Well, I like Mike Allred a lot too.
Well, that's the
You
big
got to
selling
support
point
the
of the book.
people you like.
Am I the only person that like has always been fine with Mike Allred's
I'm
work,
fine
but,
with
like,
him. I'm not,
but never particularly like enamored of it?
He turned the corner for me on Ecstatics and X-Force when he did those. It was like something clicked, I think, and it really worked well.
He fit Madman. He fit nothing else.
Yeah.
That was it. Madman. That was it. That was the only thing he should have been doing.
Well, I like Peter Milligan and Mike Allred on Ecstatics with fill-in artists Fregredo and Paul Pope.
I remember
nice.
enjoying that book.
Mm-hmm.
Who else?
good.
We got more airing of grievances. We got to give Jim his time.
Come
You
on,
said you were
Jim.
going to hop on and back up Aaron or something?
Well, that's one of them. Well, a couple of the other things. I hate these black, white, and whatever other color you want to throw in
I hate that
anthologies. I think those should
gimmick.
be out the door. Those are ridiculous. I don't
Black,
like the
white,
idea.
and poop.
Yeah, really, that's what they are. I hate the idea that now heroes are not allowed to punch villains. That's one of the big tropes that I can't
Tom
stand.
Taylor bragging about
Tom
that.
Taylor just brags about it. It's ridiculous. And then he paints himself into a corner and has to have other people kill people for things. And that's one of the other things is I hate the idea now that most writers want to tell instead of showing things. This goes in with what Aaron said. The idea of, and I think it might be because they're not allowed to pitch stories, so they or characters, they have these stories in their head and they'll just shove whatever character they're assigned into a story, and then it's just narration heavy, no character work. And then it goes where we said, instead of developing a character, especially a new character, like say Naomi by Bendis, you end up she's on the Justice League before we even knew her power set. And you had the
Remember Batman and Superman looking
and
at
that's
Naomi?
that's exactly, and saying, "Oh my
They were
God,
so
she
happy.
is a mega level thing." It's
Yeah.
that lip service again to try to convince you. I don't give a shit what Batman and Superman say because it was ridiculous. We've never seen Naomi was on the Justice League, and her big thing of dialogue was, "I just got my powers yesterday." Oh my God, I don't know what I am, and she's leading the Justice League, and it's ridiculous. But it really goes down to the lack of character work and them trying to shortcut into having that lip service of, like you said, Wolverine and Captain America saying how great Miss Marvel is and things like that. It's ridiculous, and it just gets you angry. It doesn't make you accept that. It just gets you angry, and it actually puts a spotlight on the fact that we know nothing about these characters. Or even go further, when you have an established character and you have your new character beat the crap out of him, or like a detective story, and somebody will figure something out before Batman because you want to say, "Oh, look how smart they are." It's ridiculous.
Are you raging against the machine, Jim?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. I'm trying to stay awake from these painkillers. My head's all over the place. But yeah,
I'm with you on that Tom Taylor stuff. He does that a lot. Like with the, I remember in his Superman Son of Kal-El book, he actually had John Kent defeat like Lex Luthor at chess the first time they ever played.
Ever.
Mm.
Well,
What?
and Tom Taylor or Tom King does that, where the first time that Selena Kyle picks up a sword, she defeats Talia. Like these things don't work. They don't work the way they think they are working. And yeah, it happens. Nightwing, how many times? Nightwing's even an established character. We already know how great he is, but everybody has to keep telling you how great he is instead of actually showing him maybe defeat like Heartless, the one villain in the book. Like it's all this lip service nonsense. I mean, the Bloodhaven's a shithole, and then you have Superman saying, "You did great in Bloodhaven." I'm like, he did nothing in Bloodhaven.
He let all the
he
prisoners
means
out
during
to
Chuck
rape and
Dixon's
kill.
run.
Yeah, that's what he means. Back
He's
then.
like, you did a great job in Bloodhaven when
I mean,
Chuck Dixon
and-
was writing the book.
Also, I'll give the other thing. It's just a little deal for Tom Taylor, but the idea that he had like Marv Wolfman and George Press selling free pizza or giving out free pizza in his book, that everybody wants to do these like fake feel type things. Tom King just did it with Cancer Kids, with Wonder Woman. But when you look at the whole picture, as me and Wes talked on the Patreon show that we do, it didn't even make sense. It's just there when writers like that, they end up realizing, oh shit, I'm losing people. Let's throw a story with a cancer kid. Let's do this. And it's just that fake shit that just drives me nuts. What I'm
Yule,
saying, no
you're-
cancer kids. That's what.
You're a comic book retailer. Have people given up on that Nightwing series from Tom Taylor? Because I gave up a long time ago. I went back recently. He's still Heartless is still out there.
I can't stand Tom Taylor. The only thing I actually liked that he did was the Laura Wolverine book.
I like
Gabby.
that too.
I like Gabby. She's cute, you know. And
You
I
didn't like
have
Deceased?
I hate
No, I
you.
can't stand what if stories.
I didn't like
Um,
I like Deceased.
anything Elseworlds, what ifs, they can all
Did you like
spin.
Beast World?
I saved it up to read it, so now I'm going to read it.
I think you're
That's
going to
awesome.
enjoy it right up till
All right.
the end.
Okay, well,
Especially the Ivan
goodbye,
Reis.
Ivan Reis. It's been good
Yeah,
knowing you.
that sucks.
Did
Did Beast World sell? Because the stuff I'm seeing made it look like it didn't sell.
No, the whole thing was crap. Tom Taylor's Titans doesn't do very well for me, and truthfully, it's really I've never ever sold Titans well, except for maybe when it was Jeff Johns and Mike McCone on artwork. So like every other iteration, whether I liked it or not, is fair to middling at best.
It's too bad because that Dan Abnett Titans and Rebirth was fucking good.
I know when they had Bernard Chang, I think it was on art, and they had Crush, and I think it was a Hollywood writer.
The Adam Glass time.
Those were really good also. Like very
Those
few
are-
times do I want to
like
read
it.
a all ages kind of superhero comic, but that and Strange Academy was coming out at the same time, and those were very good for all readers.
Man, I like Roundhouse, and he just doesn't
Yeah.
get the respect that he deserves.
He was kind of a cad at one moment.
But when he's taking Wallace West to go meet his mom and he's telling him all the rules because she's
Dude, I
old school
love it. It
Chinese,
was so good.
It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Very good stuff. You guys should look at that Teen Titans, but
You're the second person
yeah.
I've met that likes Roundhouse. Jim's the other one.
Yep.
and I liked his relationship with Crush. I mean, it was weird, but you know, they just
Even
had
his
a good
family deal
connection.
was good. I
Yeah.
liked the character. Again, a character that actually had some development. I liked it.
I like
That was a
Crush
great series.
when Lobo shows up. I thought it was still good.
But for the most part, I don't want to read those kind of books.
Yeah.
I'm done with Tom Taylor's stupid Newsies hat.
Tom Taylor,
He's bald, right?
God.
Like that's what he's hiding under that stupid Newsies hat. He's bald?
probably.
Yes.
It's gotta
Yeah.
be.
Okay. God, dude, just be bald. I'm so tired of these guys with their like always wearing their hats like it's their Linus blanket. Like we know
Yeah.
you're bald under there. Just be
LeBron
bald.
James. No, stop it. Just
Nah.
just
It's
shave your
not
head.
that-
Your hairline is past the middle point. You know
It's
what I mean?
not that we're bald; it's that we have enough hair to need to hide that we didn't shave. You know what I mean? So that's what hats are all.
You don't
about.
want to bick it every day?
Well, I mean, God really cursed me. You know, seriously. I mean, he didn't give me an island. He gave me like just enough land mass to look worse than that. You know,
So you don't have the
he doesn't
horseshoe?
give me a friar tuck or anything.
Those are
like
cool.
that. It's just like patches on my neck. You know what I mean?
No, you know what? God knew that you were gonna look cool with a beanie. And
Yep.
that you'd actually look more credible. So, like if I walked in and you just
You're
didn't
not
have the
done with the
beanie,
beanie,
on,
J-
like I
Aaron?
don't know. No, I'm totally down with the beanie. Look, you'll rocks it, man. Like
mean,
I,
do
if
the
I walked
beanie,
into
though,
his
because
shop, if I
look
walked
like
into his
Chris
shop
Rock.
in Berkeley and I saw him stand behind the counter and he's wearing that beanie, that his charisma went up 10%. I'm more likely to buy things and listen to his opinion. I don't know why. That's just the way it works out.
I also in the Bay Area wear an LA Dodgers baseball hat. I'll have you know. So
I'll
that's
blend
always
in.
good
That's
for
good.
conversation.
Yeah.
Aaron can't
Yeah.
wear a beanie.
Not on Thinking Critical, I can't.
No,
Because
the
Wes
beard
immediately tells
makes
me.
it look like Chris Arant.
Yeah, he tells me I look like Chris Arant's Twitter picture, and I'm like, well, nope, beanie's coming off.
Yeah. All right, we've got to the last one. Last but not least, Doc, do you have something that is irking you that's a personal grievance that you would like to get let out today?
I'm gonna skip the tropes. I think everybody here has already covered most of them. I can't really say much more on them. I mean, I could say it a different way, but it's still the same shit. All the bullshit comic tropes, especially the comic tropes of the last 10 years. I'm going to go with the publishing, marketing, and sales. Pricing is the overpriced issues. We were just talking about this in our review of Wolverine. Wolverine is a $5 book now. On no planet, it does not matter who is on that book. You could have Larry Hama and Mark Silvestri back on that title. It is not a $5 book. There is no comic that is 22 pages that is a $5 book. Sorry, fuck you, entire comic industry. It does not exist. It is impossible to create, and you will never do it. So the $5 book, the reboots, and I don't mean this in like, I mean the relaunches, the excessive relaunches. Every single thing gets a relaunch, and every single relaunch gets a dozen variants, 2 dozen variants, in the case of some 6 dozen variants. And I am not joking about that.
Fantastic Four and Iron Man, right?
Yeah, Fantastic Four had 73 variants.
Yeah.
No.
Like Iron Man had 65.
Yeah, just no. Look, at this point, you're not even lying to us at this point. You're just lying to yourselves. And that's, I think, where it gets into the comic books industry's delusion with itself, where it actually thinks that it's going to convince us that it's fine. That the only thing, we're doing this because there's demand for these variants. There isn't. You can sucker people into, hey, this cover's kind of cool, and the regular version's $4. This one's $8. Fuck it, whatever, because they have a couple extra bucks in their pocket. That doesn't make it good. It doesn't make it desirable. All you're doing is nerd impulse buy.
Did you see what they're doing with Blood Hunt, Doc?
I know.
There's two versions of the #1 issue. There's the one that's regular, and there's a polybagged mature version that's more bloody or whatever. The regular one is $6, and the other one is $8.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. You know what?
$2 for a polybag.
$2 for a polybag and some moderately different interior colors, because you added some red. This is as bad as what we were talking earlier about the Clayton Crane X-Force title when they did the bloody variants. They were literally the same fucking cover it's just like they used a goddamn Snapchat filter that stuffed some blood over different parts of the art. That's it. It's kind of like the spilt milk one, except instead of it
looks like jizz though, right?
Yeah, that's the spilt milk one is just you got a facial.
You couldn't even rub the blood away like you could with blood. What was it?
Blood Strike.
Yeah, Blood Strike. I almost said Blood Sport.
Yeah, Blood Strike, where back the Rob Liefeld Blood Strike, where you could rub it and it would brighten because it was heat activated ink. Mm-hmm. No, like gimmickry was one thing. This is you legitimately lying to yourselves and to your parent company about the shape of your industry and the shape of your publishing line by going further and further down a vicious cycle. And the rate of, it's a spiral. It's a death spiral, as Aaron referred to it before. And the thing with spirals is, as you get closer and closer to the middle, the rate at which you spin around it goes faster and faster and faster. And we reached an acceleration point years ago in the frequency, the number of, and the quality of relaunches. And then they started having to add in all the other variables in order to maybe get issue 1 of whatever the current volume is to the same unit sales, including the variants, as issue 8 of 2 volumes ago. That's where you're going. You have to keep raising your prices. You have to keep doing more and more variants with more frequent reboots, with more everything, in order to get the same result as you got on a random number 28 issue 10 years ago.
I'm not comfortable with Doc using physics, man.
No,
Gone over my
The
head.
whole industry, the entire industry has lost the plot. They have reached a point in their death spiral where it is unsalvageable, and the only way out is to literally stop and accept that you can't fix it. You can't spin your way out of it.
The sun's gonna blow up, everybody. Just accept it.
We're on Krypton.
But you can have
Maybe
a lifeboat.
Jim can be baby Superman, and we can lift him over to manga in time to save him before it
Not
blows
with
up
that
all of them.
elbow.
But you
Not with that elbow.
Gaga.
It's not
But
worth it.
you can lifeboat your way out of it. But no, I'm sick of the delusion of the comic book industry of itself. That's what I'm saying.
That's it. Boom. There you
Yeah.
go.
Yes.
I feel like Doc just like kicked me in the balls here. Oh.
He's like, by the way,
Flip
DC's
that for
getting
a
sold
video.
this year. Your mother never loved you.
about
Santa's
time for
not
the-
real.
It's time for the DC Marvel crossover to happen
Like,
again.
give me
I
a
think
bottle of
that'd
vodka and a gallon of milk. Or one and the other. Although
Nobody
hopefully people
wants
had
it.
the sound on for that.
Nobody
Ms.
wants it
Marvel
to
and
happen.
who?
You know.
No,
Yeah.
I don't want it to happen. But it's at this
The
point.
prices
it
are
is-
insane, though, Doc. I was going through the solicitations. Like I said, that Blood Hunt #1 polybag bloody comic for $8.
How long have I been joking about the inevitable end result is one copy sold for $50,000 to one fucking
Nick Cage.
rich Arab sheik or Nick Cage
That's a
that he can
good
do when
model.
he's not but here's the thing. At that point, Nick Cage can just write off the sale as a charity.
Yeah.
At least then he won't get in trouble for not paying his taxes again.
My goodness. And he's slamming Nick Cage here. Are the prices hurting people? Like, is it too slow to notice as they gradually kind of increase over time?
I don't know. I mean, it would be nice if it was the main titles: Batman, Spider-Man, Superman, X-Men would be the lowest cost comic book monthly. Instead, they seem
done
to like the Spider-Man
it.
one is like the more expensive one.
Yes.
You know, all the other stuff shouldn't be, but that's where like your mini series or like it's all screwed. I wish they could just figure out the price, but yeah, it should be a little bit cheaper. And I'm in a better location as far as rent is concerned than I was before, so it doesn't feel like it would mean so much. Going back to baseball really quick, you know, that Ohtani guy signed for $700 million, but most of it's getting deferred. Till
$680
after-
million of it.
Right. Now, Mark Miller, you know, a couple months before that happened, was talking about some sort of like, you know, pay them up front a certain amount, and then on the back end when
Royalties.
things sell, get some royalties.
It's
A little
performance
bit
bonus.
different, but kind of the same also. You know, you offer more to get the people in,
Mhm.
and then if it does well, then you get more after the fact.
Well, no. The thing is, all that is literally every single form of a performance bonus
Mhm.
that has ever been written into a contract, and there's a million of them. Fuck, you know,
It
most
used
people.
to be that way,
Mo-
but I
most
don't
pe-
know what happened, and it's not anymore.
Well, comics. Well, the exclusivity. They gave away the a lot of the performance bonus and back end money when they got exclusivity because it gave them health insurance.
And then it
But
wiped
now
out
it doesn't
all
even
the-
give you health insurance. So fuck you, you
Right.
dumb bastards in the comic industry. But no, you just go to a performance bonus system. Most upper management, middle management level people, they have their compensation package is a flat salary. With then here is your bonus scheme, where it is here's your targets, here's everything you got to do, here's when you exceed them, here's your multipliers, and then your bonus is up to like 50% of your annual salary depending on your performance. So
Gotcha.
you might not be getting paid great in your base salary, but a lot of, I mean, this is most like Fortune 500 businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The thing that I want to point out, just as an aside, what Yul said at the beginning of the show, the idea of the slow week, when people, and I see them in the comments, and a lot of people are like, I hope that DC and Marvel burn to the ground. I can't stand them. Oh my God. And Yul said at the very beginning, when there are slow weeks of comics coming from the big two, it's the indies suffer as well. So if you like indies, I mean, you got to figure out a solution, not just hope they burn down. And it's kind of, it's scary.
What? Nobody wants that type of indie that's going to only be around after comic books explode.
Mm-hmm.
You all don't buy that shit. I know because I get it in my fucking store, and even my people don't buy that.
Yeah,
it rots on the shelf.
Nobody is coming in for freaking Noah Van Sciver in droves. You know what I mean? And they sure as shit don't want his brother in the store.
Like, here's the thing. Indies will never put an ass in a seat. They will be the thing that people can appreciate once they're in there, but it doesn't put asses in the seat in the first place.
Yeah, it's like going to see a big movie and you see a trailer of another. Oh, I might go see that later, but you're there for the big movie.
Right.
Yes. You first got there.
I can't wait for Argyle. It's going to be great.
The movie looks awful.
But it's
like that little cat.
It's just that mall metaphor that I had from a couple of months ago. The anchor stores when there's no anchor stores, nobody goes to the fucking mall. Look at every dead mall. All the anchor stores at the end are gone.
Yeah, it's just tennis shoes. Did I say tennis shoes?
And like some random clothing stores and some person of indistinct Middle Eastern descent trying to sell you cell phones.
Hey, buddy.
Very nice. All right. Well, let's hear for the peoples. I think that was a fun conversation. I have a video out where all the people that responded to me, I tabulated all the stuff they were mad about, and I did a video. It should be out on Tuesday. Kalichi Oke, thank you so much for the support. It's very generous of you. For context, Sefton Hill, Jamie Walker, co-founders of Rocksteady, and spearheaded the Arkham games, left around 2018, 2019, and founded 100 Star Games and took most of the talent with them. Hacks were mostly the only ones left, in addition to Sweet Baby Inc. That seems to happen a lot, Aaron. I mean, that's kind of what happened to Pixar, where they let the real talent behind there leave with all the extra talent that were already there with them, and now Pixar sucks too.
Yeah, when I think it's Jennifer Lee, when she took over Pixar, her mandate was we need to have all kinds of equity in the company. So we need to hire a ton of non-binary people and a ton of trans people and a ton of this person and this person, and we need to check every box. And the box that they never bothered to check was, are these people talented?
Yeah, I think you'll also see that a lot of times, just throughout business when things change or things get a little different. Normally, the people that stick around are the people without options.
Yeah, exactly. The people with options abandon ship and go someplace better and find a better deal.
Yeah, that's why Dan Slott's still at Marvel, despite all the other kind of big name writers leaving.
That's why Joe Madeira is in video games and not drawing a monthly book anymore.
Yeah, and Eric Canetti's been out of comic books for years now. He comes back up and does his crowdfunding books, but he makes his money in video games.
You're really talented artists. They're going to go off and they're going to do other stuff, that makes them more money. But their love of comics brings them back. But that's really all it is at this point. And it's kind of funny because it reminds me of when I was at Boom, and I was pointing out the fact that, I can't get artists for these rates that you're giving me to offer them. And, especially like the Italian artists that would get immediate approval on Disney stuff. I wanted to do some covers and stuff with them, and their rate was higher than Boom was willing to pay. And what I was told was, sell them on the dream of working in American comics. And that told me everything I needed to know about publishers. It's like they will take advantage of your love for this medium and your desire to tell stories within this medium. They will absolutely take advantage of it and sell you on the dream.
Sounds like Vince McMahon over at Boom.
Yeah.
He's gonna puke. Don't worry. He's also at DC. He's also at Marvel and Image and every other company.
Bad.
That's
Come
true.
on.
That's absolutely
true.
true.
It was Paul Heyman over at ECW. I mean, it's not the
artist.
same.
So, Aaron, earlier you said you think this might put Rocksteady like out of business. How can one video game put a company out of business?
Well, they've spent so Arkham Knight, which is their last video game before this, came out in 2015. So they've been working on this for 9 years.
They haven't put a single game out or a single DC game out.
I don't think they've put a single game out. I think this has been their entire focus, and they've been under the umbrella of WB. So it's one of those things where you're getting money coming in from WB to develop this game and getting everybody paid, but it's a live service game. Those are really hard to keep going. Not many of them survive.
You are correct. Remember, they haven't had a game since 2015. Wow.
Yeah, remember the Avengers? Remember that game? Live service came out, was trash. Everybody abandoned it, and within months, it was dead. And then they took the server down after a year. They completely took it down, and the game just does not exist online anymore. That's the fate I see for this game. That game, the Avengers, almost ended Square Enix. Fortunately, they have other things in the pipeline, and they're a little more diversified. But this is Rocksteady's only swing at bat. And is this game going to make enough money to where anybody gives them enough cash to spend 8 years making another game? I don't see it happening.
They're not doing Gotham Knights? That was another game.
No, that was actually from WB Games Montreal,
yes,
who did Arkham Origins.
Yeah.
And Gotham Knights was awful. So, but I don't think it got nearly the backlash that this is getting.
Yeah, Warner Brothers were trying to sell that, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's crazy. They probably could put them out of business, couldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But it looks like all the talented people already left. So the Rocksteady that we have now is not the Rocksteady that we had back when, we were getting the really great Arkham games. You know what I'd like to see? Instead of these live service games, I guess it could still be live service. I'd actually like to see like a GTA style game set in Gotham where you start out as a low-level thug and you got to work for the different criminals in Gotham, and you have moments where you're being pursued by different members of the Bat family and have to elude them. I think that'd kind of be a cool concept for a game.
Are the Arkham games like the best superhero video games ever made?
I think so. Yeah, I definitely think so. It's definitely the game that most makes you feel like the character that you're playing. So you feel like Batman in that game. You feel like a badass. You walk into a room and there's 20 thugs and you're like, no problem, I'm Batman.
It's so hard to compete with that X-Men like stand-up game that had the four top with the Nightwing kicking everyone's ass. So the fighter game, remember that?
Oh, Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler.
Yeah, Nightcrawler.
Yeah, Nightcrawler.
You threw me because you said Nightwing. The X-Men. Yeah, the six player X-Men Konami side-scrolling beat 'em up. Yeah, that game is amazing. All those side-scrolling beat 'em ups are pretty great. The Punisher was great. Of course, I'm a big fan of Final Fight, obviously. The Turtles in Time game, all of the Simpsons side-scrolling beat 'em up. Those were all fun.
Because I tried to play one of the Arkham games, but it kept telling me what I had to do next, and I didn't like that. I wanted to do my own adventure.
Well,
that's why I like
Arkham
Zelda.
City.
You can do it in your own order.
You were playing Arkham Asylum then. It's more linear. Arkham City, you have more freedom.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's crazy. Because it feels, that was like the game people talked about, and every one of them was successful.
It was like when they would announce it and they'd put out the campaigns for it. It was like everybody was hyped. Nobody's excited for anything anymore. Do you notice that like the death of excitement because everything is crap? Like now we're just kind of okay. I'll check it out when it comes out, see what I think. But like nobody's hyped for anything anymore because we don't believe that anything will live up to our expectations. We expect to be disappointed now.
I was excited for Transformers, but I really like Daniel Warren Johnson, and I thought he would be good.
I'm excited.
That's pretty rare.
He does. Savage Sword. I'm excited for this X-Men thing to be over and the new one to start.
You ready for the reboot? Are you more excited for it to die or to reboot?
To die. I've been waiting for this for a while, so I'm ready for it. I'm okay. There's nothing about what happens at the end that I'm gonna be less enthused about. And the fact that it's happening is like I'm good with that.
Do you think they're going to try to
on the
reboot?
Going to be good
on the reboot, Yule? Do you think that they're going to try to have their cake and eat it too? Do you think they're going to try to split the line
and eat it too?
Yeah, and be like, here's the line for all of you 12 people that are online screaming about Krakoa. Here's all the gay milling around books for you guys. And
I
then,
guarantee Cyclops is gonna gain a heat vision to his optic blast. I guarantee. That's just for Doc.
All right, Doc. What's with this thing? If I bought a cake, why am I not allowed to eat it too?
you can't
Or if I
have it.
bake
and
the
eat it
cake.
too.
Well,
Come on, Doc.
It's
You're the
all.
smartest
He's
guy in the
not
room.
there. I don't think
I
he's
think he
there.
stepped away.
He's choking
Yeah.
on a heater?
He's eating cake.
Yule, are you
Send
excited
me your
for
back,
Peach
man.
Momoko's X-Men, Yule? Peach
Look,
Momoko.
Unless
Yes,
you have
can't
some
wait.
sort of
Okay.
temporal device that preserves your cake forever in time, but also allows you to eat it, you cannot have your cake and eat it.
Exactly.
That's what it means. It doesn't mean you're not allowed to eat your cake. You're not allowed to have a cake, but also
And
eat it.
eat it. Yeah.
You
Yes.
either
It's
eat
just-
it or you
yeah.
don't eat it.
You can't
Exactly.
keep having it plus eat it.
Oh, well, never mind. I guess we didn't need Doc for that one. Thank you very much to Kalichi Yoki for that support. Really appreciate all the talk about the Justice League or the Suicide Squad game. It doesn't sound like it's going to go over well. Callum says sympathetic villains or that he's tired of, sexuality swaps, men getting pregnant, that Steven Universe Tumblr art style and storytelling that and the list goes on.
I would add to that any writer who did anything with Rick and Morty. We'll throw that in as well.
I'd say sympathetic villains is totally like after like Mr. Freeze. I don't care about your feelings or history really anymore. Like I like it how Taskmaster. I fucking killed my parents and I used the money and I became all this whatever. You know that's cool.
But I like
Maybe
arcade so much.
Arcade, yeah. But
My dad wouldn't keep funding my lifestyle, so I murdered him and took his money.
Well, I mean, a lot of people like Spider-Man too, and I feel like that's exactly what they did with Doc Ock, and that's the exact worst thing you can do with Doc Ock. Therefore, I don't like it.
He lost his
And-
wife. And
Yeah, it's some bullshit. He's an asshole.
I actually look at Arcade as a sympathetic villain, so that just shows how I am.
that's
You
because your
don't
life's
know my parents.
Yeah, I hate my dad. So I'm like, I'm with you, Arcade.
Oh man. Yeah, there's so many really good answers, but I'm definitely done with the the Cal art style, Aaron, with the art where
Yeah, I'm
Is
tired
it
of
Cal art, or is it just
tired-
Brazilian or whatever?
Bean
It's
mouth.
the bean mouth, the bean mouth look where,
Mhm.
I like it on Teen Titans Go, but that's enough for me.
Yeah, I don't like the art style that people like try to say is manga style either, because it's not, and it's
No.
messy, and it just gets ridiculous.
You better not be talking about Ken Nomura when
Maybe.
you say that, because that's some bullshit. Man. Great.
Callum also is tired of unlikable lesbian female leads.
Well, you could have just said lesbian female.
Yeah, the
Or
unlikable
just-
is implied.
You just say
They're all the
leads.
same character.
You could have
Over
just
and over.
said female characters.
Jeez.
It's
These
actually
days.
all the characters these days. A lot of times, again,
Misogyny
it's kind
here.
of goes in with
It's
everything,
horrible,
but
you guys.
the superheroes are the least likable ones in their own comics anymore, because they have to push these side characters and things like that.
I'm done with emasculated male characters, particularly black male characters.
Ooh. Yeah, I have customers that talk to me about that. They happen to be black also.
They kind of fucked up Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Well, that was Bendis then. The minute they domesticated him, and I know everybody likes married couples, but that sucked.
Well,
He was better when he was pounding her in the first issue with Jessica Jones. After that, no more. You know what I mean?
in the butt. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the other part. Vince McMahon stuff there.
Jeez. Man.
That was some
Almost all
of
the-
Bendis's kink coming out there.
Yeah. Well,
What is it
that's
that
fine.
Birch always references from Police Squad? The writer is barely disguised fetish.
Very nice. Do we want to? We don't want to talk about Beast World, do we?
No.
Jim and I already did a whole
I haven't
conversation
read it
on
yet.
Beast World.
I'm so happy.
If as long as you don't read the tie-ins or the issues of Titans, you'll be fine. It's
Good.
good.
Yeah.
the
I like
art's
that
good.
villain artist too. That was really good looking.
Lucas Meyer.
Lucas
He's
Meyer,
pretty good.
he does
He's
fine.
not as good as Ivan Reis, but he's pretty good.
How many people are?
No.
He's
But,
good though. I like him.
Yeah, that thing ended up being an enormous dud. But this show wasn't a dud. There was nothing going on in comic books this week, but we made it work. I think we had a lot of good fun. Now it's time to talk about some comic book recommendations, which is going to be a little bit difficult because it was a suspect week, although last week somehow was even worse. Gray, we've catch you up way too late. I think you're an hour ahead of me, so it's 2 a.m. there already. Thank you very much for staying with us. Do you have any comic books you want to recommend?
No, it's been awesome to be on, Wes. Thanks again for inviting me. I do have some, and I've been dipping into a few indies this week because there's been a lack of supposedly big titles. I quite enjoyed Joshua Williamson's Dark Ride, issue 10. I've been hearing a few things about that, and I decided to try it. That was decent. And Local Man, is it Tim Seeley on that? Issue 9, that was pretty good. It's a little bit dialogue heavy, but it's well written. And shout out, of course, to Duke 2, and King Spawn was pretty decent, although it has been drawn out. This whole, was it the Throne of Hell thing, has just been going on for about a year and a half, so I'm looking forward to Spawn 350, where hopefully it's going to get sorted.
Absolutely. Anything people should be looking out for on your channel?
No, not really. Nothing exciting going on there. Just take it easy at the moment on YouTube.
Well, very nice. So I do want to ask you, so my wife recently, I talked to Jim about this, but maybe you were in the same boat. She went to McDonald's and got a McFlurry, like a Oreo McFlurry, which I happen to love. Leaves it in the freezer. I go in there's a little bit of green or whatever, and I think they accidentally got some matcha on the rim. It turns that they put in matcha into an Oreo McFlurry. Do they do insane shit like that? Like with green tea in Japan?
Oh, I like green tea as a hot drink, but I hate green tea flavored ice cream, sweets, chocolate.
Awful?
It's crazy over here, Wes. It's everywhere. Green tea Kit Kats. Oh my god, you can't stop.
I like the green tea Kit Kats though.
I've had those. I don't mind them either.
They're disgusting. Every time I would visit my wife, I would have to bring green tea Kit Kats from Korea as well before I moved here.
They
you
do.
Can get them
they
out
do
here. You can get them at Cost Plus World Market out here. Like they import them.
Aaron, they do a cherry blossom one as well in Japan. They do a sakura flavored one, which is surprisingly quite good.
I've not seen that, but I've seen that like Kit Kat is doing all kinds of crazy flavors. You get dark chocolate, coffee, caramel. What do you? This one tastes like birthday cake. They're just trying everything. It's like, what do you guys want? You guys want pastrami? We'll make a pastrami flavored Kit Kat. Will you buy it?
Bacon.
It's capitalism.
So,
Jim,
Ale loves matcha on everything.
Ooh.
Do you want to tell him the story? What happened to you when you were making fun of my wife with the matcha fucking McFlurry, and you were telling your wife about it?
And I thought that she was going to laugh about it, and then I had to skip football for quite some time on a Sunday afternoon by going and getting a McFlurry and then getting matcha and putting it in and mixing it up, and it tastes like shit. Is what it was. It's terrible. I actually just as the thing, it works out. Last night I was looking for something. I was going through one of our shelves, and all of a sudden the shit just spilled out all over it. My wife flipped out because it was this matcha that she had, and I spilled it. I did spill it all over the floor, and I said, "We'll pick it up off the floor. It'll taste better. It'll be better." Now you got a lot of extra fiber.
It's not that big a deal.
You got some fiber from the carpet, stuff like that. There you go. Oh, she was
the whole point. Wes and Jim, the whole point with the whole matcha thing, a little bit of Japanese culture, is you're supposed to have it. It's a bitter, very bitter drink, and then on the side you've got a sweet dish, traditional Japanese sweet or something. So you've got this nice combination. You shouldn't have it together in the same thing.
Yeah,
there you go.
My wife claims she loves the taste of matcha. I don't get it.
Anyone that says that is lying. It's grass.
She does have this. She has the sweet side of me sitting there shaking my head.
It tastes like medicine,
that, right? Yeah, it's awful.
It's pretty much medicine.
All right, Aaron, do you got any recommendations for comic books?
Oh, I think you know what I'm going to recommend. It is Duke #2, which was fantastic.
It was a damn good comic book. Are you going to be making any special appearances now that you've hit the big time this week?
I don't have anything scheduled this week, I don't think. I think my week is just pretty much the regular shows that I do. I kind of burnt myself out going on everybody's show in the course of 2 weeks. I was like, I need some alone time. So nothing. Although I am always available if somebody's like, hey, we want to come on. We want you to talk about this. Yeah, I'll come on. I'll come on anybody's show. I'm a dirty YouTube hoe.
Ale's now talking about bitter melon. They have that here, and it is absolutely awful. Do not ever eat that. Now, Aaron, you need to start watching Transformers the movie, because we're going to be doing a review very soon for this special edition of Geek Fix.
For Transformers or G.I. Joe?
G.I. Joe the movie.
Or both? G.I. Joe the movie. Okay.
It's
well,
very late, and I'm sorry.
No
I'm very
problem.
tired
I
today.
happen to have it right here.
You've got the DVD, you got the Blu-ray.
I got the Blu-ray, baby.
So we're going to be doing a review of that. If you're interested in that, you will have to go to the Patreon because that will be exclusive there in a few weeks. That'll be tons of fun. Next up, we do have Yul Carter. Fantastic Comics. Are you recommending anybody the funny books?
Yeah. I'm recommending Batman Off-World #3.
Absolutely.
Scintillating artwork by Doug Monkey, and Jason Aaron right now is 4 for 4 with OK Comics that he's writing. So take that, if you don't like him. I even have a customer that hated his Thor, hated it, but he's loving the Batman. So that one's a good one. Moon Man #1 by Image and Kid Cudi. Yeah, it was it was well written. I mean, there were curse words and there was no wingdings, and I thought it was an interesting premise as far as the way it was executed. It was, guy got powers, but there's like this lapse in time and they're trying to figure out what happened, and I kind of dug it. And I assume it has something to do with his music because this is a character of him, or is. I don't know.
So it's not part of the supermassive universe?
No, I don't believe it is.
Yeah. Whenever I see Kyle Higgins, I assume it's part of his universe.
I think he's the co-writer because,
they might be boys.
People. Yeah, that too. And lastly, if you want to see a rich, horrible person who deserves getting what they get, you should check out Rumpus Room. The last issue just came out. It's written by Mark Russell with Ramon Rosanas on artwork. He's about a 6 in art. But this dude's a cad to everybody outside and inside, including his dungeon, where, you got to know. You got to read it. It's good.
This is based on Vince McMahon.
Could be. Very well could be. If you want to see Vince McMahon get his just desserts, Rumpus Room is for you.
Very nice. I think we got that. Comment Set says Moon Man #1 and Dead Lucky #11. It's a shame you don't read Dead Lucky, Wes. Unlike Tom King's Wonder Woman, Melissa Flores does care about the U.S. soldiers. I read something from Melissa Flores recently that I didn't like. In fact, I think there was 2 books. One of them was a Power Ranger book, and then there was something else that she did. Oh, it was that Gwenpool book where Gwenpool starts a rock band. And that was my first introduction to Melissa Flores as a writer. It did not.
Do you think anybody could write? Do you think anybody could write those books and make them good?
No.
Yeah, the ideas that are being handed down by the
Power Rangers, yes. Ryan Parrott did it.
Right. You said Power Rangers.
But the Gwenpool stuff now, or Spider-Gwen, sorry. Gwen starts a band. But
she started another band.
Yeah, she started another band, the Mary Janes, and they're going on tour with Dazzler. And who's the other mutant that can sing? Lila Cheney?
Lila Cheney?
Yeah. Lila Cheney?
Yeah.
That's how I always pronounced it as a kid, but I guess it is just Cheney.
Yeah, I just called her Lila Cheney.
Very nice. But I don't have anything personal against Melissa Flores. I'll check out Dead Lucky. I'm always looking for stuff to read, and thank you very much for the suggestion. Appreciate that. Who else? We got Jim from Weird Science. He didn't die this week because he was heavily medicated and likely sitting on his bed or couch the entire time. Did you read any comic books worth recommending?
Yes, I did. And I'll mirror Yule with Moon Man #1. Actually, I was surprised. Usually when you get a new writer, even though Kyle Higgins is co-writing, they'll overwrite things. Moon Man, yeah. And I thought that was pretty good. It's not overwritten. It's a pretty good deal. But my main picks are Batman Off-World #3. I think that Batman Off-World is one of the better books out right now. It's one of my favorite ones and one of the few I look forward to. I'll also go Cobra #2, as most have. But I'll throw in... yeah, I'm telling you, I'm out of it. Duke #2, I said. And also Spider-Boy #3. something that people haven't mentioned. Probably make
The
fun of me,
rare
but I
Dan
liked it.
slot recommend. I like it.
I like it. I actually am having fun with it. You kind of get what you would expect, an all ages type deal, but I do like the way that he is progressing Spider-Boy, having his own rogues gallery set up, and also he's kind of a flawed character, but in an all ages kind of way. I think it's pretty good.
And Paco Medina's on art, so you actually
Yeah,
get
it
probably
looks
some
good
pretty
too.
good interiors.
Yep. Yeah.
Not always the thing over there at Marvel. You got anything big happen on the channel, Jim? Because
Just
you're blowing up on YouTube and podcast.
Oh my goodness! Just the standard stuff. I'll be reviewing more stuff. I haven't really done that much this week because I have been sitting on my ass drugged up. But I should be getting back to doing some.
Did
more
you get
things.
an MRI on the elbow? Did they find out what was wrong?
Yeah, it's kind of messed up. It's got. I said I have bursitis, but it does have some, floating bone and things like that.
Yeah,
but
you got some chips.
this stuff that with an elbow you can kind of maybe work it out. You just have to get it drained. But yeah, so I get some.
You didn't want to let the
painkillers
kids
and-
drain it? I think they would have enjoyed that.
Yeah, though I wouldn't even want to know how they would go about that. But on the channel, I'll have some more videos and stuff up. This week, when we have a annuals week, a 5th week, most of the podcasts are Patreon only, so we're dealing with that too as well. So that's a deal.
Very nice. Last, we do have Doc. It's certainly not going to be a modern comic book recommend unless it's Wolverine 42, but are you recommending any comic books?
Nothing new. I am, however, going old school. This was a fun read. It's from a number of years ago. Michael Turner and Joe Kelly writing with Talent Caldwell interiors. Yeah, it looks pretty dope. Doing a Superman story. Peter Steigerwald colors. It's great. So this is the hardcover of it. It was only, I don't know how long ago that was released, but I got mine signed before Michael passed. So it's a fun story. It's more of a Krypton story. And actually, no, I'm sorry. It's a Kandor. Is that the name of the bottle city?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kandor. And then we're going to go with, even though I said I hate fucking variants, I'm sick and tired of variants. X-Men.
You have a lot of them.
Yes, I do. 500. This is the Michael Turner variant. I'm in a Michael Turner mood this week. Guy was phenomenal and lost way too soon. And this is his variant. There was also there's a black and white version of this, as well as a Dodson's variant and a black and white version of the Dodson variant too. So then this, you know what? This I've been trying to find for a while. This is the newsstand non-enhanced version, because most of them have this thing up at the top where it says like X-Men anniversary event, and most of the ones you're going to ever find, it's going to have like a little hollow foil thing up there. This one does not. So it is just ink.
Nice.
So, and then finally we'll go with a non-variant. This is just the A cover, and it's just awesome. I mean, come on. J. Scott Campbell.
Where are her organs? Come on.
Tits are organs. And they're all behind her boobs. It's fine. That's where she just had them relocated. It's okay. Boobs are organs. But this is, ASM 606, I think. I got a couple copies of this because every time I find one at a reasonable price, I buy it. So that's it for me this week.
Doc is such a prevert, you know what I mean?
Doc, I need to talk to you about that Amazing Spider-Man.
You want one?
I might need one. I forget.
I have at least 2 copies of it, if not 3.
Well, I want to take you down to 1, but we'll talk.
Well, I might have 3. I'm not sure.
All right. Well, like I said, I gotta check my stuff.
All right.
Well, that will do it, folks. I do want to say thank you all very much for joining us today. Had a fun time in a pretty relatively quiet comic book week. But we always have a good time on a little side quest, talk about some geek culture, and certainly enjoy hearing from the viewers as well. We certainly have the best, the most well-behaved viewer live chat that you'll ever see in YouTube, especially around comic books. So I always appreciate that. Have a great weekend, and I do appreciate the panel as well. I appreciate everything, and I'm saying that word far too often.
Get out.